Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Comprehension Heaven-Defying, Rebirth Sasuke, Revitalization. Chapter 101. Boom. A terrible shock wave swept out. Ripples visible to the naked eye are formed. The space seemed to tremble violently under this blow. At Susanoo's feet, large buildings were shattered and turned into powder and disappeared between heaven and earth. Kaka, the Yata mirror, which claims to be able to block all physical attacks, actually has a crack. How can it be? Uchiha Itachi's pupils shrank. Sasuke's attack is so powerful. Even Yata mirror can't resist it. Ahem. The next second, Uchiha Itachi suddenly fell to his knees and gushed out a large mouthful of blood. The violent collision just now, even after being resisted by Yata mirror, was transmitted to him through Susanoo. Susanoo, this is the Shinigami that urges death. With Uchiha Itachi's seriously injured body, he won't be able to last long. After being attacked by Sasuke, his body finally couldn't hold on any longer. The fiery red Susanoo gradually becomes blurry and seems to disappear in the next second. Haha, Itachi, have you reached your limit with Susanoo power? Sasuke soars into the sky. He raised the Chidori light blade again and slashed it down. Boom. With a terrible crash, the terrifying shock wave caused the surrounding flame barriers to continuously twist. It seems like it will be blown away in the next second. Two consecutive attacks finally caused Susanoo to collapse. The original Crow Tengu form quickly collapsed, and the chakra disappeared layer by layer. It turned into the original skeleton. Sasuke, you have really grown up. Uchiha Itachi's eyes gradually darkened, and he weakly stretched out his hand to Sasuke. Susanoo, who maintained her strongest form, briefly fought with Sasuke, who was in the state of a mortal body. Already used up all his chakra, Uchiha Itachi fell to his knees. In his mind, he kept recalling the scenes from the previous illusion. Perhaps it was a mistake to kill Uchiha. At the last moment of his life, Uchiha Itachi had a thought in his mind. If he had to do it all over again, he would never make the right choice again. Sasuke returned to his original state, jumped down from the air, and landed gently in front of him. Itachi, I know your purpose very well, and I also know your past. Sasuke said calmly. Actually, the high-ranking Konoha people who issued the order did not die at the hands of Orochimaru. Uchiha's enemies, those Danzo guys, have been killed by me myself. His cold voice reached Itachi's mind. It turns out that you already know the truth. Uchiha Itachi gave a wry smile. He originally thought about taking this secret to his grave. Unexpectedly, Sasuke already knew everything. After all, he underestimated Sasuke too much. Itachi, you are not a god, and I don't need you to guide or arrange my life. To Konoha, you may be a qualified ninja, but to Uchiha, you are a complete traitor. And I'm named Uchiha Sasuke. Don't worry, next, it's the guy wearing the mask's turn. Whether he's Madara or not, I'm going to kill him. Sasuke's words brought a calm smile to Itachi's face. Maybe, you are right. Sasuke, if you were me, you would definitely be able to prevent the tragedy from happening that year. Ahem, but it's all over. Sasuke, forgive me. The new Uchiha clan will be recast by you. You will definitely be able to change everything. Take it, my. Uchiha Itachi's eyes gradually dimmed. Finally, he fell to the ground weakly. Click, there was a thunder in the sky. Big raindrops fell quickly from the sky, drenched Sasuke, and Uchiha Itachi's corpse. Tick, the rain fell down Sasuke's face and onto the ground. He slowly closed his eyes. Scenes from the past kept flashing through Sasuke's mind like a revolving lantern. Sasuke knew it. Perhaps, Itachi can kill the Uchiha clan. But for him, he is still the same brother from beginning to end. The bond between the two goes beyond Itachi's feelings for Konoha. Sasuke thought of this and opened his eyes suddenly. In his eyes, the three Magatama gradually merged. Rumble. The sky thundered loudly, as if it was wailing. A secret underground stronghold. Zetsu's body slowly emerged from the ground and landed in front of Obito. What's wrong, Ju? Obito turned to look at him. Something big happened. Uchiha Sasuke and Itachi started a battle. Ju said slowly. What did you say? Obito stood up suddenly. That guy Sasuke, I should have warned him. At this moment, Obito looked gloomy. Although Sasuke is very talented, he is too young to be a match for Uchiha Itachi. If you fight Uchiha Itachi early, you will lose miserably. So what's the situation now? Send me their battle images. Uchiha Obito spoke and whispered. No, I didn't detect the battle. That guy Uchiha Itachi set up a barrier at the stronghold, so I couldn't sneak in. Z spoke slowly. HMPH, that man is indeed very cautious. What about the result? Did Uchiha Itachi win? Is Sasuke okay? Obito paused slightly and then asked. He secretly thought that with Itachi's feelings for Sasuke, he probably wouldn't kill him in pain. Even if he wins in the end, Sasuke can still survive. However, in this case, Sasuke may be hit. HMPH, Sasuke's tragic defeat may be an opportunity for me to control him better. Obito said silently in his heart. I don't know. The fighting scene was very exaggerated. The entire stronghold was destroyed and no bodies were found. Ju Wei shook his head slightly. But from the trace investigation at the scene, Uchiha Sasuke, his strength seems to be not simple. Yeah, Obito fell silent. Based on Ju's description, he could imagine that the battle would be fierce. But now, does Sasuke really have the strength to fight Uchiha Itachi? Impossible. Sasuke hasn't even opened the Mangekyo Sharingan, how can he be Itachi's opponent? Could it be that he is the companion Sasuke accepted? Uchiha Obito also knows that Sasuke seems to have accepted several powerful characters such as Suigetsu and Jugo. If we form a team, we might be able to fight Itachi. At the same time, he couldn't help but doubt. Could it be that that guy Itachi is also acting on purpose? He knew very well Uchiha Itachi's feelings for Sasuke. Back then, in order to save Sasuke, he made a deal with Danzo against his conscience. Let the eyes of a large number of Uchiha people fall into his hands. Activate White Zetsu and search for the whereabouts of Uchiha Sasuke and Itachi with all your strength. We must find them as soon as possible, whether dead or alive. Obito ordered quickly. Uchiha Itachi, both in terms of strength and strategy, made him a little afraid. Regardless of life or death, his fire department should be raided as soon as possible. By the way, summon Hoshigaki Kisame and ask him what's going on. Backquote, I understand. Quote, Ju's body slowly fell into the world again. In the forest outside Kurigakure, Xiangling and the others were waiting anxiously. Hey, Xiangling, can you stop wandering back and forth in front of me all the time? Gui Deng Shui Yu said dissatisfied. Asshole Suigetsu, what nonsense are you talking about? Sasuke's life and death are unknown now. You. Xiangling punched him hard on the head. However, due to the hydration technique, Suigetsu did not suffer any real damage. I said, can you get some snacks and go fight alongside Sasuke? The opponent is Uchiha Itachi, destroy the man of the Uchiha clan. Xiangling shouted loudly. But, didn't Sasuke say that this time he will solve it alone and won't let us get it right? Jugo said with his head lowered. That's right, besides, Sasuke is not here now, how can we get there? Shueyu spread his hands and said. But, I'm worried about Sasuke. Xiangling still wanted to say something, but was interrupted by him. Hey, don't worry, with Sasuke's strength, he will definitely come back safely. Shueyu didn't care and said confidently. Yes, I believe Sasuke too. Jugo also nodded and said. Both of them had seen Sasuke's strength before and were completely impressed by him. Xiangling, what are you mumbling about here? Suddenly, Sasuke's voice came. Then, he quickly flashed in front of the three Qian Zhaohao people. Sasuke, great, you're fine. Xiangling looked surprised and rushed forward to hug Sasuke. Of course, I'm just cleaning out an Uchiha traitor. Sasuke said in a low voice, pretending to be relaxed. Xiangling and the other three were slightly silent. Although, I suffered some damage. But they were keenly aware that Sasuke seemed to be a little different. Today, I was a little tired, so I went to rest first. Sasuke left a sentence and then walked away. Late at night, Sasuke lay on the bed and seemed to fall into a deep sleep. Terumi Mei sat aside and sighed slightly. Sasuke was particularly crazy today, and she couldn't bear it. Fortunately, as a Mizukage, she can tolerate everything. Moreover, just now, Sasuke told her the general story. She could sense that after killing Uchiha Itachi, Sasuke didn't show any signs of relief, and seemed to be filled with depression. That's right. After all, they are relatives connected by blood. Perhaps only time can heal the trauma in his heart. Terumi Mei thought silently. All she could do now was make Sasuke relax as much as possible. Terumi Mei thought of this and reached out her hand to gently touch Sasuke. In his sleep, Sasuke also reached out and gently grabbed Terumi Mei's hand. Early the next morning, Sasuke sat on the edge of the cliff, the sea breeze whistling in his ears. He slowly opened his eyes, and the Magatama in his eyes had turned into the shape of a six-pointed star. Is this Mangekyo Sharingan's eye power? It is indeed much stronger than before. Sasuke muttered. Evolves from normal Sharingan to Mangekyo Sharingan. It's a qualitative leap. Sasuke is certainly no exception. However, his bloodline is purer than that of ordinary Uchiha people. Coupled with the huge chakra and extremely powerful mental power. Although Sasuke had just opened Mangekyo, he immediately mastered the powerful pupil technique of hiding his eyes. Also, his eyes are stronger than normal Mangekyo. What's more, Sasuke absorbed Hashirama cells and mastered wood style. With the blessing of his gradually recovering sage body, the Mangekyo in his eyes is almost comparable to the eternal Mangekyo. Moreover, even if he keeps using it, there is no risk of blindness at all. Well, let's try the new ninjutsu that Mangekyo Sharingan gave me. Sasuke opened his left eye sharply. The next second, his figure disappeared instantly. Where Sasuke was originally, a huge boulder suddenly appeared. Mangekyo Sharingan eye technique, Tenshou power. That's right, now Sasuke has awakened the magical skill of Tenshou calendar. As long as it is within a specific range and within sight, the caster can exchange with the target item. In close combat, not only can you avoid enemy attacks instantly, but you can also attack by shifting the position of your weapon. In an instant, you can jump through space. It is a powerful space-time ninjutsu. HMPH, after gaining the power of the heavenly hand, my actual combat ability has become much stronger. Sasuke smiled. Then, he suddenly opened his right eye. Crack! The space in front of him shattered instantly like glass, and turned into a huge and terrifying black hole. Sharingan eye technique, Takamagahara. This is also a time and space ninjutsu. Wherever Sasuke focuses his gaze, the space can be shattered and everything can return to nothingness. The most powerful physical attack in the true sense. After all, what defense can resist space fragmentation? Takamagahara not only has terrifying attack power, but can also be used for defense. The focus of Sasuke's gaze is enough to create a space passage in an instant. Push all ninjutsu, weapons, and even enemies into a different space. With this move, Sasuke can also jump between different time and space. In terms of the use of time and space, don't be more convinced than Bishin Sholi, Flying Thunder God Technique, etc. The left eye is Amaki, and the right eye is Takamagahara. This is Sasuke's new eye technique. Not only that, Sasuke had a thought in his mind. In an instant, the pure and huge chakra enveloped his whole body. The purple skeleton slowly extends from Sasuke's body. Then it quickly took shape and turned into a huge purple skeleton. Subsequently, a large number of meridians and flesh quickly grew on the skeleton. Transformed into a giant purple Susanoo. Sure enough, this is Susanoo's power. It doesn't seem difficult to master. Sasuke smiled. With Sasuke's talent, he can successfully channel the power of Susanoo in a very short time after opening the Mangekyo Sharingan. Moreover, the Susanoo he condensed is also more powerful. Although it is only the second form, it is much larger than Uchiha Itachi's third form. The power is even more terrifying. In comparison, Uchiha Itachi's Susanoo is as weak as a stunted figure. According to legend, Susanoo is the Shinigami who urges death, but I don't seem to feel anything. Sasuke clenched his fist and muttered to himself. For ordinary Uchiha people, maintaining a huge Susanoo requires a huge amount of chakra. Therefore, they overdraft the potential of almost every cell in the body. This results in Susanoo's great burden on the body, causing severe pain to the performer at the cellular level. But Sasuke is different. Due to the infinite chakra refining method, he possesses a massive amount of chakra. In addition, after Sasuke cultivated the 9 palaces of the Tao Star, his body's strength and vitality were comparable to those of a tailed beast. This means that the cost of maintaining Susanoo is common for him. He can use this as a normal move. Then, Sasuke had a thought in his mind. Susanoo was wrapped in a chakra coat, and then a weapon was condensed. In its right hand, a huge purple longbow appeared. On his left hand is a huge shield condensed from chakra. Susanoo's weapon and attack mode are related to the pupil technique contained in both eyes, which means. Sasuke thought. His Susanoo immediately took up the bow, and a long purple arrow exuding a faint light was formed. Go! Susanoo shot the arrow immediately. Call out. The long purple arrow crossed the space and instantly hit a huge cliff in the distance. Click! The hard cliff shattered instantly, forming a huge black cavity. Sure enough, the attack of my Susanoo arrow also contains the power of Takamagahara. Sasuke beamed. Susanoo's arrows can also cause space to shatter. His current strength has been greatly improved. Moreover, my Susanoo can also be integrated with other powers. Sasuke was lost in thought. He can use Susanoo as the basis to develop a more powerful and terrifying form. This is enough power to make the ninja world tremble. After one day, Sasuke casts Flying Thunder God and returns to Hijong Hokage office. Hey, Sasuke, where have you been fooling around these days? Tsunade stared at him resentfully and said dissatisfiedly. Seeing Sasuke's refreshed face, Tsunade couldn't help but guess. Could it be that he went to be cool with other women? What's wrong? Did something happen to Konoha? Sasuke frowned slightly and asked. It's not Konoha village, it's Sunagaku. Gaara took up the post of Cage not long ago, but was attacked by the Red Sand Scorpions of the Akatsuki organization. Attack Feng Ying. You were really brave. Sasuke secretly thought, this approach will undoubtedly turn Akatsuki into a terrorist organization in the ninja world. Suddenly, Sasuke was slightly startled. No, Nagato's purpose is to collect tailed beasts to make powerful weapons, so as to maintain the power that scares all the countries in the ninja world, and to achieve peace under terror. This approach seems to be exactly Xiao's apparent purpose. As for Obito's project Tsuki no Mi, probably no one knows about it except himself. What about now? After Gaara was captured, has the tailed beast been extracted? Sasuke asked with a frown. If so, he would definitely die as a Jinchuriki. However, with Granny Chio's forbidden technique, he may be able to be saved. Tsunade glanced at Sasuke and raised the corners of his mouth slightly. Sunagaku can't solve it, so he can only blame me. Then, I personally took action to kill the Red Sand Scorpion and rescue Feng Ying. Oh, Sasuke's eyes lit up slightly. Then he flashed in front of Tsunade and gently lifted her chin. Woman, what are you so capable of doing? Sasuke's hot breath made Tsunade blush. She gently slapped Sasuke's hand away, showing a hint of pride. Humph, of course, I'm Hokage, don't underestimate me. What, the Hokage is amazing. Sasuke smiled evilly when he saw Tsunade like this. Then, he quickly locked the door. You, what do you want to do? As a ninja of Konoha, do you want to commit the following crime? Tsunade looked shy and said deliberately. Asking questions knowingly, Tsunade, is not honest at all. Tsunade, you are very proud after becoming Hokage, right? How dare you bully Hokage? Mie Ying, I let you Hokage. I let you Hokage. A long time. Sasuke left the Hokage building satisfied. Tsunade was left with a confused look on his face, slumped in a chair. Afterwards, Sasuke went to Yuhihong's house. We haven't seen each other for a few days, so naturally we can't treat each other favorably. With Sasuke's strong body, Raihong was also killed by him. Then, Sasuke returned to his residence and started practicing. In a dark underground stronghold, all members of the Akatsuki organization gathered together. Kisame, you mean, Uchiha Itachi was killed in action? Tiandao Pain looked at him, unable to conceal the shock in his tone. Well, although I don't want to admit it, this is probably the fact. Mr. Itachi told me that he was going to find Sasuke to settle the grudge against Uchiha, but he never came back. I'm afraid, something unexpected has happened. Anekasaki Kisame said in a low tone. How could this happen? Itachi is very strong. Conan also said in disbelief. Just kidding, After Uchiha Itachi activated Mangekyo, Susanoo's power shocked them all. That is a very powerful ninjutsu that combines offense and defense. Sasuke, if I remember correctly, he is just a little kid now. How can he be able to control a weasel? Could it be that the ninjas of Konoha deliberately set up a trap and successfully surrounded and killed him? There was a hint of confusion in Conan's voice. No, don't forget, when Itachi joined the Akatsuki organization, he was about the same age as Sasuke is now. Obito's voice was deep. Now, there are only 4 or 5 people left in the Akatsuki organization. Almost everyone knew his identity, so they didn't hide themselves. Oh, it's really nerve-wracking. In addition to Scorpion, even Weasel was killed. Hoshigaki Kisame looked helpless. With Orochimaru who defected before, our organization is now seriously short of manpower. Everyone, I will capture the tailed beast myself, and I will leave the rest to you. Tiandao Pain suddenly said, HMPH, with the leader's strength, it's too easy to catch those tailed beasts. Never smile. If necessary, you can give up chasing Orochimaru and cooperate with him. Obito thought for a moment and said, wait a minute, didn't that Orochimaru guy die long ago? Kisame Kazaki looked confused. Humph, that man won't die that easily. His life is very tough. It's just that a little preparation is needed to successfully resurrect him. Obito said with a sneer. Resurrect Orochimaru. Obito's suggestion caused everyone in the stronghold to fall into silence. Indeed, the Akatsuki organization has suffered setbacks one after another, and its personnel have suffered serious losses. It is extremely detrimental to the development of subsequent plans. However, Orochimaru is only one person after all, and his subordinates were also recruited by Sasuke. In addition, he once betrayed the organization, I'm afraid. Conan raised his doubts. Yes, Orochimaru's strength is not enough to have much impact on our organization. Hoshigaki Kisame also spoke. Once, Orochimaru wanted to take Uchiha Itachi's body. But with his strength, he couldn't escape from Itachi's illusion. In the end, one hand was chopped off. In the Akatsuki organization, his strength is considered mid-range at best. Yes, that man is indeed not very strong, but the forbidden technique of impure world reincarnation he mastered can really help us. Obito spoke slowly. Impure world reincarnation. Everyone fell into deep thought. This forbidden technique is really strong. In the Konoha collapse plan, Orochimaru summoned first generation and second Hokage through impure world reincarnation, and finally joined forces to kill Sarutobi Hiruzen. Moreover, after successfully resurrecting him, we will know who is the enemy of our Akatsuki organization. Obito's voice was low, and a thought flashed through his mind. Sasuke, I hope this person is not you, otherwise, I will be the only one left in the Uchiha clan. Apparently, either way, Sasuke can defeat Uchiha Itachi, his strength is enough to arouse Obito's vigilance. In addition, he received all the power of Orochi. This made Obito vaguely doubt that the person who killed Orochimaru was Sasuke. Okay, this is the end of the meeting, let's disperse first. As Tiandao Pain finished speaking, several people present released their ninjutsu and left one after another. In Uchiha Obito's stronghold, soon, a white Zetsu was brought back. White Zetsu, let me ask you, how was the showdown between Sasuke and Itachi? Is Sasuke really powerful enough to defeat Uchiha Itachi? Obito looked at this white Zetsu and said. He was one of the white Zetsu that Obito left for Sasuke. Although, in name, it is said to be convenient for contact. But in fact, he is a secret spy placed by Obito next to Sasuke. Transformed into a spore form with white Zetsu, even Sasuke can't detect it. Although, Sasuke ostensibly agreed to Obito joining the Akatsuki organization last time. But with Obito's scheming attitude, how could he not leave any means behind? Through white Zetsu, Obito can easily find out and understand everything about Sasuke. Madara-sama, Sasuke did have a one-on-one relationship with Itachi. Obito narrowed his eyes. However, in battle, Sasuke's strength is obviously not as good as Itachi's. So how did he win? Obito was a little confused. Itachi's body can't hold on any longer. Uchiha Itachi was seriously injured before the battle. His injuries worsened during the battle and he finally collapsed. White Zetsu said quickly, I see. Obito nodded slightly. This was pretty much what he thought. Uchiha Itachi, who has been using Mangekyo Sharingan for many years, has long been overwhelmed, coupled with suffering from a rare blood-border disease. Time is running out. The battle with Sasuke accelerated his death, which was normal. Okay, White Zetsu, you go back first, continue to keep an eye on Sasuke, and report to me if there is any situation. Obito ordered. Yes, Madara-sama. White Zetsu nodded, then disappeared underground. Konoha Village. On the edge of the village, there is a forest training ground. Lord Sasuke, I have passed false information to Madara in accordance with your instructions. White Zetsu lowered his head and said respectfully. White Zetsu, as a special existence transformed from the divine tree by ordinary humans. Mental strength is quite weak. Since being planted with a cursed seal by Sasuke, its spirit has been gradually swallowed up by the cursed seal. Now, it has been completely replaced by Sasuke's command. Don't dare betray me in the slightest. Oh, I see. Sasuke nodded slightly. Go down. He doesn't want Obito to know his true strength yet, in order to prevent him from jumping over the wall in a hurry. Once Nagato uses Rinne Tensei to resurrect the real Uchiha Madara, the situation will not be good. Sasuke thought to himself, Uchiha Madara, his strength is very close to the Six Paths level. Sasuke now has no confidence in defeating him. What's more, after Uchiha Madara was resurrected, with his terrifying strength, he once attacked the countryside. The consequences are unpredictable. For example, with his ninjutsu, one Tengai Shinsei is enough to raze the village to the ground. For such a crazy and threatening person, Sasuke realizes that he has to wait until his strength reaches a higher level so that the team can deal with it with confidence. Well, next, it's time to develop Senjutsu Susanna. Sasuke thought silently. With his understanding, as time goes by, his strength will become stronger and stronger. There is no rush to take action now. Sound Ninja Village, in an underground stronghold. Zetsu, is your news correct? Inshimaru's broken arm is here. Uchiha Obito turned around and asked. You can't be wrong, this is Orochimaru's former lair. Ju nodded. Not long ago, I sneaked in here and saw his arm. HMPH, very good. Uchiha Obito smiled. Afterwards, the two of them quickly entered the underground along the passage. But soon, someone in the stronghold noticed their traces. Who? Yakushi Kabuto stepped out from the depths. He was very surprised. Orochimaru's lair was very hidden. Moreover, induction spells were set up around it. Logically speaking, no one should be able to sneak in secretly. HMPH, it turns out to be Kabuto. I didn't expect you to be still alive. Why, as Orochimaru's most loyal subordinate, Sasuke didn't kill you. Obito emerged from the darkness and said. What, you? Daughter you Akatsuki? Yakushi Kabuto looked shocked. The two people in front of them were wearing red clouds and black robes. They were obviously members of the Akatsuki organization. After all, having stayed in Orochimaru before, Yakushi Kabuto naturally knows it very well. The members of Akatsuki actually came here. Yakushi Kabuto's hand lit up with chakra scalpel, and he stared at the two of them warily. Madara, I'll leave it to you. I'm not good at fighting. Ju Yu said. Madara. Yakushi Kabuto looked at Obito with a shocked expression. How is it possible? The rumored Uchiha Madara is already dead. Humph, for a little person like you, there is no need to explain to you. Obito snorted coldly. He stretched out the black stick in his hand and rushed over quickly. Yakushi Kabuto chakra scalpel swung at him, aiming directly at his neck. However, a strange scene happened. Chakra scalpel streaked across his neck, as if it had penetrated. Not the slightest touch, but Obito's hand grabbed his neck. Poof! The sharp black rod pierced Kabuto's body. The chakra contained in the black rod paralyzed him. Immediately afterwards, Obito used Kamui and instantly sucked Kabuto into time and space. Obito, you didn't kill him. It's really surprising. Ju said with some surprise. HMPH, after all, he is Orochimaru's right-hand man, so this guy should have a lot of information. I think keeping him will be of some use. Later, Obito and the two entered the depths of the stronghold and found Orochimaru's hand soaked in a glass jar. Here he comes, part of Inshimaru's body. Soon, the two took it and left quickly. In Uchiha Obito's secret stronghold. He threw the unconscious Anko aside. The ninja of Konoha village, Obito, when did you capture him? He acted very quickly. A smile appeared on Z's face. HMPH, sneaking into Konoha is too easy for me, not to mention, she just went out on a mission. Obito stared at the curse mark on Anko's neck and said. Soon, he removed part of the flesh and blood from Orochimaru's hand. Press them into Anko's curse seal. The evil sealing seal is released. The Uchiha Obito seal is placed around Anko's neck. Soon, as the curse seal of the sky lit up slightly, a huge lump of flesh bulged on Anko's neck. Immediately afterwards, the meatball transformed into the shape of a white snake. The huge white snake slowly opened its mouth, and Orochimaru crawled out of the white snake's mouth wetly. HMPH, he actually came out. Orochimaru is really a difficult guy. Seeing this scene, Ju couldn't help but say. The curse seal is the product of Orochimaru's spirit. After merging with his body, he can be resurrected through the curse seal. Obito said coldly. I never expected that it would be you who revived me. Orochimaru woke up slowly and said hoarsely. Besides, he is still a new face in Shaojong. Orochimaru stared at Obito with cold eyes. Shimaru, I resurrected you this time because I want you to help Shao. Obito said calmly. Oh, what if I refuse? Orochimaru said suddenly. Orochimaru, you have no room to refuse, otherwise, I will seal you again. Uchiha Obito said coldly. Don't think about running away. In front of my Mangekyo Sharingan, you are just a fragile mortal. Under Obito's Uzumaki mask, the Sharingan is revealed. Orochimaru, you should be honored to be able to serve for the legendary Uchiha Madara. Ju's voice also came from the side. Mangekyo Sharingan, Uchiha Madara. Orochimaru was surprised. However, he quickly regained his composure. As a reward for resurrecting me, it's not impossible to work for you. Just return to the Akatsuki organization again. Orochimaru said with a sneer. In his current state, the souls of his hands were destroyed and he could hardly perform ninjutsu. Faced with the mysterious Uchiha clan possessing Mangekyo, if you really want to resist, it will definitely be a waste of time. It's better to agree to him for now and talk to him later when we have a chance. A thought flashed through Orochimaru's mind. By the way, who is the person who killed you? The leader asked casually. It's Sasuke, he's terrifyingly powerful. A flash of fear flashed in Orochimaru's eyes. How is it possible? It's him. Obito was slightly silent. Then, he immediately became rich. Obito was startled at first. Immediately, his face became gloomy and his tone was full of anger. You mean, the person who killed you was Uchiha Sasuke? Orochimaru nodded slightly. Don't think he's just a kid, his strength is definitely beyond your imagination. Orochimaru gritted his teeth slightly. Although, he lost the twin tails before fighting Sasuke. But even with the strongest Yamada technique, Sasuke was unable to fight back and was killed. There is a huge gap in strength between the two. Sasuke, I didn't expect you to hide it so deeply. Uchiha Obito's voice is deep. It seems that I was also fooled by you. Obito gradually understood that Sasuke was obviously fooling him when he agreed to join the Akatsuki organization. I'm afraid, not only Orochimaru, but also several other people in the organization were probably killed by him. Obito thought silently in his heart. The members of the Akatsuki organization are very powerful. Almost all of them possess cage-level strength, and normal ninjas cannot deal with them at all. Let alone kill them. According to Orochimaru, Sasuke's strength has completely surpassed cage level. Only he can kill other members of the Akatsuki organization with ease. HMPH, Orochimaru, what are your plans now? The leader suddenly looked at him and asked. HMPH, of course it's revenge. This time, I'm going to take Sasuke's body completely. Orochimaru said viciously. Yes, but as a condition, you must obey my orders. I remember that your impure world reincarnation can resurrect the dead strong men in the past. Uchiha Obito said. Since Sasuke is not from the same group as him, there is absolutely no hope of taking him under his wing. Obito naturally doesn't mind killing him. He even vaguely guessed in his heart. Does Sasuke already know the truth about the night of genocide? Judging from his behavior, he was looking for revenge on Uchiha Itachi from the beginning. Then, I pretended to be a snake with him. Sasuke, you bastard, you actually want to kill me. There was a hint of viciousness in Obito's eyes. In that case, let's see who can survive to the end. Zetsu, give the personal belongings of those powerful men to Orochimaru. Obito ordered. Ju is extremely good at sneaking in and detecting. According to the information he knows. In many places, biological tissues of powerful people who died in the past have been collected. As long as you use them, you can cast impure world reincarnation and successfully resurrect them. Orochimaru was slightly startled when he heard this. Then, he spread his hands feebly. HMPH, I wanted to help you too, but that damn old man Sarutobi Hiruzen took away all my patience. Orochimaru said in a hoarse voice. Without the soul of his arm, he couldn't even perform the seal, let alone cast impure world reincarnation. Obito frowned slightly. Indeed, this is a problem. If Orochimaru cannot use impure world reincarnation, his help to Obito will be very limited based on his strength alone. Then, how do you recover your hands? After Orochimaru was silent for a moment, he slowly spoke. The injuries on my hands were caused by the sealing of the corpse ghosts. To recover, I must first retrieve my soul. Then, we have to summon Shinigami first. Well, the powerful sealing technique of sealing away ghosts was left behind by the Uzumaki clan. Go to the ruins of the Uzumaki clan first, maybe we can find clues. Well, let's go then. Uchiha Obito nodded. Afterwards, the three people quickly left the stronghold and disappeared. The other side, March Lake in Kurigakure. The figure of Tiandao Pain appeared in midair. I see, Three Tails hasn't been sealed into Jinchuriki's body yet. Then, Pain looked around. Soon, he discovered the hidden village of Anbu hidden in the dark. Obviously, their purpose is to defend Three Tails. Tiandao Pain did not hesitate and quickly flew towards them. Who is this? This is Kurigakure's forbidden area, leave now. These Anbu ninjas warned him. But Pain still ignored them and continued to kill them. It's an enemy. Quick, kill him. Several Anbu ninjas reacted and quickly used ninjutsu to blast Tiandao Pain. However, whether it is kunai shuriken or various water-style ninjutsu, the moment they got close to Pain, they were all bounced away or dissipated. It is blasphemy to attack God with the power of mortals like you. Tiandao Pain's eyes were cold. As soon as he waved, these Kurigakure ninjas flew towards him uncontrollably. How is it possible? What kind of ninjutsu is this? Several people only felt that a strong attraction enveloped their bodies. Immobilize them. Poof. Tiandao Pain took action, and the black rod pierced their bodies. Blood dripped on the lake, dyeing the water red. Wow. Three Tails suddenly popped its head out of the water. Roar. He let out a thunderous roar and stared at Pain coldly. Beast, it's time to return to your destiny. Behind Tiandao Pain, Shiradao slowly emerged. He suddenly pulled out his mechanical arm, and a large number of missiles trailed out with tail flames and blasted towards Three Tails at great speed. Facing these missiles, its huge body became an excellent target. It's impossible to hide. Rumble. Three Tails' body was instantly covered by a violent explosion. Roar. Three Tails screamed in pain. Immediately afterwards, its huge body fell to the ground helplessly. HMPH. Three Tails, successfully captured. There was a sneer on Tiandao Pain's face. These wild-tailed beasts are huge in size, but cannot control their power accurately. This makes the tailed beasts slow and not as agile as the Jinchuriki. The powerful attack of Shiradao missiles can just restrain them. Soon, Pain quickly left with Three Tails. Soon after, Kurigakure. An Anbu member hurriedly rushed into Mizukage's office. Sorry, Mizukage-sama, the Anbu squad responsible for guarding Three Tails has lost contact. We investigated and found that Three Tails has disappeared. Terumi Mei's expression changed. When did it happen? Why are you reporting to me now? Terumi Mei said sternly. Three Tails, for Kurigakure, is crucial. With tailed beasts, the group can balance the battle history between villages. Their Kurigakure, after years of blood mist policy, is not as strong as the other four major villages. She originally thought of cultivating a Jinchuriki from Three Tails as soon as possible so that she could reseal it. Unexpectedly, now, quick, take me over and take a look. Terumi Mei frowned and said, well, I have to inform that guy about this. Soon, Sasuke, Terumi-Mei, and several other high-level officials from Park Hidden Village appeared in March Lake. Did the Akatsuki organization finally start taking action again? Sasuke frowned, but Wong now didn't even tell him about this matter. This made him realize instantly. Things seemed to have changed. Sasuke was slightly silent. Could it be that Obito, this guy, has begun to doubt me? According to the previous agreement with Obito, if the Akatsuki organization makes any big moves, he will be notified. But now, Sasuke doesn't know anything about capturing the tailed beast. HMPH, but it's okay, with my current eye skills of Mangekyo Sharingan, it's enough. The corners of Sasuke's mouth quirked up. Before, he didn't want Obito to know his true strength and arouse his vigilance. Mainly because Obito has Kamui's bug level time and space ninjutsu. As long as he casts illusion, he can become immune to all physical attacks. Moreover, Obito can move in time and space through Kamui, so it is not easy to catch him. But now, Sasuke has the pupil technique Takamagahara, and is expected to crack Obito's Kamui. Sasuke no longer needs to hide his identity. Mime, please be careful these days. Although Akatsuki has taken away Three Tails and the possibility of attacking Kurigakure is very low, you still need to be vigilant. Sasuke looked at Terumi-Mei and said, "Well, I know." She nodded slightly, and Basuo felt that things were getting more complicated. Unfortunately, the Akatsuki organization has been investigating the tailed beasts for a long time, and I'm afraid they already have information about them. Sasuke frowned slightly and thought to himself, now, Three Tails and Sini have fallen into the hands of the Akatsuki organization. As for the whereabouts of other Jinchuriki, although Sasuke is trying his best to search, it may be difficult to find them for a while. After all, Jinchuriki is the most important secret of the ninja village. I will definitely cover up my identity and hide it carefully, except. Like the Eight Tails Jinchuriki Killer Bee, it has great strength. But even Killer Bee was ordered by Raikage to stay in Yunlei Canyon to practice and not to go out at will. Soon, Sasuke returned to Teisho. He first told Tsunade what happened in Kurigakure. It seems that after the successive losses of Akatsuki organization personnel, they finally couldn't hold themselves back and started to implement the plan. Tsunade, Jiraiya should be notified about this and ask him and Naruto to be careful. Sasuke spoke. Well, I will arrange it. The strength of these members of the Shao organization is not simple. You really need to be cautious. Tsunade nodded slightly. This is their current predicament, the enemy is in darkness and we are in the clear. Not only is he ignorant of the strength and intelligence of the remaining members of the Akatsuki organization. There is not even any information about their stronghold, location, etc. The ruins of the Uzumaki clan. In an abandoned wooden house. The three Orochimaru people appeared here. They looked at the various masks hanging on the wall and smiled. Finally found it. Is it the Shinigami mask? According to the records in the Uzumaki clan's books, in order to release the soul swallowed by Shinigami, one must sacrifice oneself as a sacrifice, let Shinigami possess him, and then throw away his belly. Orochimaru muttered. Sealing out the corpses is a very terrifying sealing technique. Normally, after a person dies, his soul will ascend to the pure 10 stages of ultimate bliss. Impure world reincarnation is to bring the souls of the dead in the Pure Land back to the present world again. But the souls of those killed by the ghoul seal will be devoured by the Shinigami. The true death and soul annihilation cannot even be summoned. Therefore, in order for Orochimaru to free his hands, he must first release part of his soul from Shinigami's body. Orochimaru, let's get started. Uchiha Obito said coldly. At the same time, he waved his hand and released several white zetsu. Well, this is the sacrifice you want. The quality should be good. Orochimaru felt it for a moment, and his eyes suddenly lit up. What a pure sacrifice, the body is, almost filled with Hashirama cells. Orochimaru smiled and used this sacrifice to cast impure world reincarnation. The strength of the resurrected strong man will be very close to that of his life. HMPH, this member of the Akatsuki organization who is hiding behind the scenes and calls himself Uchiha Madara seems to have mastered a lot of secrets. If he uses this kind of sacrifice called White Zetsu, he is confident that he can easily kill Sarutobi Hiruzen in the Konoha collapse plan. However, first Hokage is known to the world as the god of ninja after all. Once he is resurrected with a strength close to his life. Orochimaru was slightly silent. In this state, he may not be able to control the other party. It seems that we need to take a long-term approach and develop a method to control impure world reincarnation. Soon, Orochimaru took off the Shinigami mask on the wall and put it on his face. Suddenly, an illusory Shinigami with white skin, long fangs, and white robes appeared in the sky. Both Obito and Zetsu were slightly surprised. Is this Shinigami? It's really unusual. Quick, start quickly, I can't last long in this state. Orochimaru urged in a hoarse voice. Obito's chin moved slightly, signaling White Zetsu to step forward. Then, a White Zetsu held a dagger and slashed Orochimaru's abdomen. At the same time, a wound appeared on Shinigami's pale belly. Several souls struggled and flew out. It's now. Orochimaru immediately performed a corpse turn and transferred his own body, the sun-scaled serpent, into a White Zetsu. And his original body was swallowed by Shinigami. Soon, the soul belonging to Orochimaru returned to his hands. HMPH, that's great, all my ninjutsu are back. Orochimaru smiled. Moreover, he could notice that the body he replaced was very suitable. As expected of the cells of the first Hokage, they contain amazing vitality. In this state, when he uses impure world reincarnation, both the accuracy of the technique and the control ability will be improved to a higher level. Next, it's your turn, Orochimaru. Uchiha Obito said leisurely. At the same time, he handed a part of the strong man's personal organization to Orochimaru. Ha, want to resurrect so many powerful ninjas? What on earth do you want to do? Orochimaru looked at him with a sneer. It's nothing, the Akatsuki organization doesn't have enough manpower, and we want to rely on them to capture the tailed beasts. They are the dead anyway, so resurrecting them is a gift to them. Uchiha Obito sneered. Perhaps, they can also see their favorite juniors, and they will be very grateful to me. Orochimaru was slightly silent, fooling the souls of the deceased, and even making them fight with the people they loved during their lifetime. This guy is really a lunatic. The Uchiha in front of him indeed made him feel very dangerous. But, Sasuke, get ready, my revenge begins. This time, I must let you experience what pain is. Orochimaru stuck out his tongue and licked his lips. A few days later, the Kingdom of Thunder is a canyon shrouded in clouds and mist. The mountains here are densely covered and the scenery is extremely magnificent. It is called Yunlei Canyon. There are 8 swords on his back and the 8 tails Jinchuriki Killer Bee with iron characters tattooed on his right shoulder. At this moment, he was swimming happily in a pool in the canyon. Hey, it's so boring. Brother Raikage is too timid. Killer Bee thought with a depressed look. Some days ago, 4th Raikage told Killer Bee that members of the Akatsuki organization have been around recently. Their goal is to capture the tailed beast Jinchuriki. Therefore, 4th Raikage issued a death order not to let Killer Bee leave Yunlei Canyon. This made him feel very bored for a time. After all, he used to occasionally go to the village to hold concerts and join in the fun. Now, I can only issue insurance here alone. Even if you start practicing, it's not as fun as before. Damn Shao, brother, why don't you let me take action together and kill them directly? Killer Bee thought to himself. Hey, bye, don't underestimate the Akatsuki organization. Inside Killer Bee, 8 Tails Gyuki reminded. In that organization, there are strong S-level rebel ninjas from various ninja villages. Hey, Gyuki, what are you afraid of? With the strength of the 2 of us, we can definitely defeat them together. While Killer Bee was talking to 8 Tails, the entrance to Yunlei Canyon. A majestic old man with a huge body, dark skin, and an amazing aura walked in slowly. Huh, what's going on? Big brother is here. Killer Bee is a little surprised. The movie boss is busy with government affairs and won't come here for a long time. Bye, look carefully, it doesn't look like 4th Raikage. 8 Tails suddenly said. Killer Bee took a closer look and noticed something unusual. The guy in front of me looks very similar to Brother Raikage in terms of body shape, skin color, and even appearance. But he is obviously much older, and Killer Bee always looks familiar. Wait, he is actually the 3rd Raikage, how is this possible? Suddenly, 8 Tails' shocked voice came. Third Raikage once had a fierce battle with him in his wild state. Eventually, both sides collapsed from exhaustion. Eight Tails has a deep memory of this strong human being who can use nintaijutsu to confront him head-on. But the problem is, Third Raikage is already dead. How could it appear in front of him alive? Asshole, is it true? This guy is actually my eldest brother's father. Killer Bee pushed up his sunglasses and was also shocked. Eldest brother's father actually crawled out of the grave grass. Is this a ninjutsu used by some bastard? What a hateful guy. Killer Bee frowned. Third Raikage versus Eight Tails, what an interesting showdown. On the rocks in the distance, Orochimaru had a playful smile on his face. However, it's amazing how Hashirama cells allowed me to complete impure world reincarnation to this extent. The strength of the Third Raikage is closer to that of his lifetime. This will definitely be an exciting showdown. Go and catch Eight Tails for me. Orochimaru quickly takes control of the Third Raikage and attacks Killer Bee. In an instant, Rado Chakra appeared on Third Raikage's strong body. Then, a layer of thunder armor was quickly formed. He showed up, with the same ninjutsu as his elder brother, Yuki. Now it's bad. Killer Bee sighed. Not only because Third Raikage is very powerful. More importantly, he is the father of his beloved eldest brother. If I attack him and my eldest brother finds out, I'm afraid. Zetsu. At this moment, Third Raikage took action. His whole body was wrapped in lightning, and he was incredibly fast, flashing in front of Killer Bee in an instant. A large amount of thunder and lightning gathered on the four fingers and stabbed Killer Bee. Poof! Killer Bee narrowly escaped, but the rock under him was like tofu, with several big holes poked out by Third Raikage. Hey, bye, don't be stupid, he has been controlled by the enemy. Even if Raikage knows, he will forgive you, just take action. Otherwise, you will really be beaten to death by him. Eight Tails spoke. Yes, but, just as Killer Bee hesitated, Third Raikage swung out his sword. Killer Bee instantly stepped back, but was still brushed by Leiden's chakra. In an instant, a scar appeared on his chest, and blood slowly seeped out. Lord Raikage, wake up! Killer Bee shouted, but Third Raikage's eyes were still blank. Don't waste your efforts, if I'm not wrong in his current state, it should be impure world reincarnation. He's not the real Third Raikage. Eight Tails' words were like a bolt of lightning, instantly waking up Killer Bee. Asshole, it turned out to be an imposter. Yuki, why didn't you tell me earlier? Killer Bee yelled. Normal people can see it, right? Then. Eight Tails was speechless. Killer Bee's IQ is still as stable as ever. The next second, Killer Bee drew out his knife. I'm looking forward to playing against the previous Raikage, you bastard. The Third Raikage didn't respond, and thrust forward with his four swords. He flashed across like a blue thunderbolt. At the critical moment, Killer Bee ducked sideways. Fortunately, I often compete with my elder brother, so I can still handle this speed. Go, blade of Eight Tails like a bee's sting. The 8 sharp blades in Killer Bee's hand stabbed the shadow instantly. However, after passing through the thunder armor, the power of his attack was reduced by half. Plus Third Raikage's strong body. His knife only penetrated a small part shallowly. Killer Bee was slightly startled. The next second, he was slapped away by Raikage. Boom! His body was hit hard Wang Haojiao on the rock wall nearby, and a big crater appeared. This damn power is worthy of being my eldest brother's father. He is exactly the same. Killer Bee rubbed his face, looking pained. Hey, Bee, he's here. Sure enough, a blue thunder and lightning rushed over. Killer Bee jumped high and dodged the attack. Boom! The hard rock wall was directly hit by Raikage to create a big hole. It's really dangerous. Once you are stabbed, your hands and feet may be broken. Killer Bee muttered. Boom! A large amount of rocks shattered, and the tall body of Third Raikage emerged from the rubble. At this moment, his whole body was covered with lightning-style chakra and lightning, and his hair began to stand up. Oh it's over now, he's going to get serious. Killer Bee can tell at a glance that this is a ninjutsu performed by stimulating the activation of cells in the body through the lightning-style chakra. Lightning-style chakra mode blow. Lightning-style chakra mode. It not only activates the body, but also increases Raikage speed. More importantly, the defense will also be greatly improved. Moreover, the lightning bursting out in the body can increase the speed of nerve response. In this state, third Reikage is undoubtedly more powerful. Bye, you have to be careful, Reikage has become Sanbon Kansho. Eight Tails suddenly reminded. Sanbon Kwansho. Killer Bee was a little confused. Well, this is the ninjutsu that third Reikage is good at, the terrifying speed in lightning-style Chaklin mode, combined with his tough body. His fingers will turn into sharp spears, the penetrating power is extremely terrifying. Once, he cut off 8 of my tails with a single hand. When Eight Tails said this, he paused slightly. It can even recall now the damage caused to him by the third Reikage in that battle. So that's it, the fishiest spear. I've heard of it too. Yuki, it looks like you have to use your power. Killer Bee whispered. The next second, a large amount of tailed beast chakra appeared in his body, forming a coat to wrap around him. With a whoosh, third Reikage rushed over again. This time, Killer Bee did not dodge, but wrapped himself in the tailed beast chakra and rushed forward. Bang! The two collided violently, and Killer Bee was instantly knocked away. Third Reikage's fingers were like sharp spears, instantly piercing his shoulder. Hey, bye, why do you confront him? Eight Tails was a little confused. Haha, I also want to try the trick of the previous generation Reikage. Killer Bee stood up. Due to the protection of the tailed beast's coat, his injuries were not serious. Moreover, with the healing power of the tailed beast chakra, the wound healed quickly. Immediately afterwards, Rabbi's figure changed rapidly. Dark red chakra surged out and wrapped around his body, while 8 chakra tails slowly stretched out. This is half-tailed beast transformation. Orochimaru, who was watching the battle from a distance, showed a hint of interest. HMPH, in that case, let third Reikage use his full strength. Hell thrust, consistent hand. Third Reikage extends a finger from the palm of the hand, and the chakra is condensed on it. Immediately afterwards, he stepped on the ground and seemed to turn into a lightning spear, piercing straight out. Bye, you must not bear it forcefully. Eight Tails' voice sounded in Killer Bee's mind. When Killer Bee heard this, he used his feet hard and jumped into the air instantly. But the next second, third Reikage stamped on the ground and chased after him instantly. What a speed! Killer Bee was startled, and the tailed beast chakra made a loud noise and smacked it fiercely. A tearing sound. The sharp spear of thunder pierced Chakra's coat. Immediately afterwards, third generation Lei Yin's hand pierced Killer Bee's chest. Wow, a lot of blood seeped out quickly. But soon, the blood changed rapidly and became as black as ink. The ink quickly stained third Reikage's body. Is this a sealing technique? Orochimaru in the distance noticed something strange. Zitsa, a large amount of lightning-style chakra gushes out from Reikage's body surface, instantly evaporating the ink. Damn it, you failed, you bastard. Killer Bee pouted. Bye, your sealing technique is too slow, it takes 3 seconds to take effect. Eight Tails also said in his mind. Bye, stop playing around and just completely borrow my power. Hey, I got it. Killer Bee raises his arms. Suddenly, huge octopus legs stretched out from his body. Soon, a huge tailed beast with an ox-headed body and octopus tentacles appeared in front of Reikage. Oh, I turned into a tailed beast completely, now I'm going to be in trouble. In the distance, Orochimaru was slightly startled. Unlike the tailed beast in its wild state, Jinchuriki can perfectly control the tailed beast's huge chakra and terrifying power after it has completely transformed into a tailed beast. This state is definitely a nightmare for the enemy. Snapped. Eight Tails' huge tentacles struck with one blow, instantly blasting third Reikage away. Boom. The third Reikage was smashed into the rock wall nearby, causing the entire rock wall to collapse. Bye. Use tailed beast bomb to kill him directly. If. Clear. Taking this opportunity, Eight Tails opened its mouth. A large amount of yin and yang chakra is compressed to form a sphere-like black jade. Go. Immediately afterwards, the tailed beast bomb directly hit the gravel where the third Reikage was. Boom. Terrible energy burst out, causing a violent explosion. An entire hill was burned to ashes, leaving only a huge crater. Yeah, you see, this is the power that Jinchuriki can exert after connecting with the tailed beast, you bastard. Killer Bee growled. How about, bye, has the third Reikage been killed? Eight Tails' voice sounded. Of course, no matter how strong the third Raikage's body is, he was hit by a tailed beast bomb from the front. Poof! Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed. Killer Bee's octopus tentacles were cut off directly. The third Raikage landed on the water and stared at Killer Bee. At this moment, the wounds all over his body were covered with dust like dust and were slowly healing. It hurts me so much, bastard. Killer Bee complained with a twisted look on his face. Look carefully, this guy's body seems to have changed. Eight Tails saw something unusual. It seems that in this state, he can recover from ordinary physical attacks. Now we're in trouble. To defeat him, I'm afraid we can only use the sealing technique. Eight Tails murmured. In the distance, Orochimaru was watching the battle with a sneer. It's not that simple to crack impure world reincarnation. However, the strength of Eight Tails' Jinchuriki is indeed very extraordinary. At this time, Z slowly emerged from the ground on the side. Orochimaru, Obito can't wait any longer, so let's do our best. Orochimaru glanced at him. I originally wanted to continue playing with Eight Tails, but I couldn't help it. He formed a seal with his hands and slammed them on the ground. Suddenly, two more coffins emerged. The coffin was opened, revealing second Tsuchikage-wu, and second Mizukage Ghost Light Genjutsu inside. Go and catch Eight Tails. Following Orochimaru's order, these two cage-level experts from Impure World Reincarnation also rushed over. Soon, Killer Bee noticed that a thick white mist was slowly emerging, covering the entire battlefield. What's going on? Does the enemy have other helpers? At this time, third Raikage uses the white mist to hide its body while launching a surprise attack. Killer Bee was once again cut with a huge wound by Raikage. It's over. Dust escape, original realm stripping technique. Second Tsuchikage flew into the air, and a dazzling white beam of light shot out from his hand. It penetrated Killer Bee's chest in an instant. Immediately afterwards, Killer Bee's body returned to its original shape and floated feebly on the water. HMPH, tail capture successful. Orochimaru and Zetsu both had sneers on their faces. Orochimaru, Eight Tails won't die. Suddenly, Ju spoke. Jinchuriki, you have to live. In particular, the tailed beasts must be sealed in order, and the Eight Tails are still behind. Don't worry, I've got third Raikage out of his way. Orochimaru said confidently. With this kind of injury, with Jinchuriki's vitality, he will never die easily. Zetsu nodded. Then, the two quickly came to Killer Bee. Eight Tails, I'll take them away first. Soon, Zu took Killer Bee and quickly disappeared underground. Next, it's up to Sunagaku. Orochimaru muttered. After the two left, under the calm lake surface, the tentacle cut off by the third Raikage turned into Killer Bee with a bang. Fortunately, you reacted quickly and used the clone technique on the broken hand. Eight Tails' voice sounded. It was really dangerous just now. The enemy this time is indeed unusual. Not only the third Raikage was resurrected, but also powerful characters such as the second generation Shadow were resurrected. Faced with the siege, even Killer Bee can't stand it. By the way, what are you going to do now? Are you going to tell fourth Raikage? Eight Tails suddenly asked. No, I won't tell my brother. This is a good opportunity to sneak out of Yunlei Canyon now. After staying here for so long, I'm almost suffocated. But these bastards are so powerful. Killer Bee sighed. Are you sure you want to do this? Things will be bad when your elder brother finds out. Don't worry, he will only think that I was really taken away. The land of wind. A figure appeared in the desert. He moved quickly in the direction of Sunagaku. Soon, the outline of the village appeared in front of him. I really didn't expect to see the village again after so long. I don't know why I was resurrected. If there was a ninja from Hidden Sand Village here, he would be able to recognize him at a glance as fourth Kazekage Rasa. However, now, his body is covered with tiny cracks and his pupils are black. Apparently resurrected by impure world reincarnation. HMPH, fourth Kazekage, it seems you have arrived at your destination. Suddenly, Yin Shezi's voice sounded in his mind. Who are you? Luo Sha was a little confused, and the voice in her mind seemed familiar. Why, did you forget it so quickly? Fourth Kazekage, by whose hands did you die? Orochimaru's cold laughter finally reminded Luo Sha of the scene before his death. Bastard Orochimaru. A flash of shock flashed in Luo Sha's eyes. Orochimaru, what on earth do you want to do? He had a vague premonition in his heart. At the same time, his hatred for Orochimaru reached its peak. As a dignified Kazekage, he was assassinated by Orochi and died during his lifetime. Unexpectedly, he was not spared even if he died. He was reincarnated and resurrected again, and was driven by Orochimaru. What do you want to do? It's very simple, let you meet your son Gaara. By the way, take the one-tail Shukaku from him. Orochimaru said with a sneer. You bastard, don't even think about it. Rasa was about to resist, but Orochimaru formed a seal with his hands. Suddenly, he found that his body was not obeying his orders, and his mind was also controlled by a strong curse seal. Soon, he rushed towards Sunagakur at high speed. Look, someone seems to be coming. The guards of Sunagakur saw someone running wildly in the desert in the distance. Wait, he seems to be Lord Fourth Kazekage. How is this possible? The previous generation Kazekage-sama has obviously. But his face, I will never admit it wrong. No, hurry up and inform the village of this news. The guarding ninjas of Sunagakur and Fourth Kazekage were all shocked when they saw him come back from the dead. They soon realized that things were not simple. Quickly send a message to other ninjas in the village. Soon, the top management of Sand Shinobi, including Konkuro, Tamari, Baki, and Granny Chiyo, all received the news. Although they were confused and shocked, they acted quickly and rushed to the gate of Cheyenne village. Gaara, is this true? Konkuro looked at Gaara, who appeared from midair, and asked with cold sweat on his forehead. Fourth Kazekage Rasa, is his and Gaara's father. At first, they saw Luo Sha's body with their own eyes. Now, he's alive again. Gaara was slightly silent. He had mixed feelings about Luo Sha as his father. After all, it was Luo Sha who wanted him to become a tailed beast weapon when he was young. Only then did he seal one-tail Shukaku into his body. They even kept sending killers to activate it and even let the one tail in his body go berserk. He really didn't like Luo Sha. It should be some forbidden ninjutsu, but it makes the dead reappear in the world. It's really abominable. Granny Chiyo said on the side. Sure enough, they soon saw the fourth Kazekage coming with gold dust. So many people in the village gathering to welcome my return. Luo Sha's dull voice came. Former Kazekage-sama, you are now. Just as Baki was about to speak, he was interrupted by Luo Sha. Hand over Gaara, I only want his one tail. Granny Chiyo and others' expressions froze. Sure enough, the target was the tailed beast. So, you should be controlled by people from the Akatsuki organization. Granny Chiyo whispered. Mother-in-law, what should we do now? Baki asked her, since Chiyo's mother-in-law Sha came out. No matter in terms of strength, prestige, or qualifications, she is the person with the highest status under Feng Ying. Even Gaara respects her. Now, the former Kazekage is an enemy, so don't show mercy. Together we will. Suddenly, Gaara's cold voice came. No need, Granny Chiyo, it's enough for me to take action alone. Gaara also wants to see if his progress over the years can defeat his father Luo Sha. Luo Sha was silent, then slammed her hands on the ground. Magnet style, gold. In an instant, a large number of metal particles buried underground formed waves of sand under his control, blasting towards Gaara and others. This is the bloodline limit of the fourth Kazekage. Chiyo's mother-in-law and others were not surprised at all. Fourth Kazekage's special physique can transform highly condensed chakra into magnetism. Placer gold can be transformed into various forms at will for attack and defense. It is Sunagakur's most terrifying weapon. He once used this technique to stop one-tail Shukaku from going on a rampage. Because placer gold is heavier than sand, mixing placer gold into sand can slow down the power of sand. In other words, Rasa's ninjutsu has some restraint on Gaara. How exactly is Gaara going to deal with this? Everyone in Sunagakur, including Granny Chiyo, looked nervous. Facing the rolling waves of placer gold, Gaara also showed a trace of solemnity on her face. He slammed his hands on the ground, and as a large amount of chakra was injected. A large amount of sand hidden underground quickly formed a sea of sand under his control, which also washed away the doctor. Boom! The two collide head-on. Gaara's sand waterfall was actually suppressed by placer gold, and then returned to peace. Sure enough, with the density of placer gold, Gaara's ordinary sand is no match. Grandma Chio and others all saw it. Facing fourth cage, Gaara was at a disadvantage when using sand control technique. Everyone, let's take action. This time we must not let people from the Akatsuki organization succeed. Granny Chio quickly ordered. At the same time, she took out her favorite secret technique, Chikamatsu 10 people. 10 puppets of different shapes appeared in the mid-sky, and they were just about to take action. But Gaara stopped him verbally. Grandma Chio, I told you, this is a battle between my father and me. Gaara's voice was deep, magnet style, golden sand waves. At this moment, Luo Sha launched an attack. A large amount of placer gold gathered in the air, and under the influence of his magnet-style chakra, it quickly bombarded Gaara. Shukaku's shield. As Gaara performed his ninjutsu, a giant puppet made of a large amount of sand stood in front of him. Luo Sha's attack was easily blocked by Shukaku's shield. This is... Everyone in Sunagaku's eyes lit up. Gaara uses chakra to apply pressure and mix the extremely hard minerals collected in the ground into the sand, condensing a huge and strong Shukaku shield. Shukaku's shield is not only less dense than placer gold, but also faster and more flexible, and even harder than placer gold. This is the method Gaara came up with to deal with gold dust. Go! With a thought in Gaara's mind, the sand and minerals formed a huge hand of sand, and it suddenly grabbed Luo Sha. I see, you actually thought of using this method, Gaara, you have become fishy. A smile appeared on Luo Sha's face. Originally, he was quite surprised and confused about Gaara taking on the role of cage. After all, Gaara brought great fear and shadow to the village when she was a child. Although, this matter was caused by him. But in this case, it is not that easy for him to gain the approval of the people in the village. But now Gaara steps forward and stands in front of everyone in Sunagaku. Luo Sha also gradually understood that through Gaara's growth over the years. Enough to make him a unique figure. However, even though he understood in his heart, his physical attacks still did not stop. This is the tragedy of being controlled by impure world reincarnation. Rumble. Massive amounts of sand and placer gold are constantly colliding. For a moment, the scene was indifferent. It's really amazing. Lord Cage's strength is really. Indeed, he is not inferior to the previous generation Feng Ying at all, and he is still so young. Yes, with Lord Gaara's potential, he will definitely become the best Cage. Satetsu Shigur. Suddenly, Gaara threw his hands. A large amount of hard sand condensed into round bullets and shot straight towards Luo Sha. Luo Sha slapped the ground with both hands, and gold dust condensed in front of him. The hard and thick placer gold easily blocked the attack. However, Luo Sha did not notice that a large amount of sand floating in the air also condensed into bullets. What? Luo Sha just raised his head and reacted. Whoosh! Countless tiny iron bullets fell from midair and hit Luo Sha instantly. Almost instantly, his impure world reincarnation body was quickly destroyed. A large amount of dust escaped from his body, and even his movements slowed down a lot. The opportunity has come, take advantage of now and seal him quickly. Gaara whispered. Upon hearing this, Granny Chio was about to control the puppet to perform sealing techniques. Suddenly, a large amount of black sand and iron emerged from the ground and stood in front of Luo. This is Third Cage's sand iron. How is that possible? Could it be that even he? Grandma Chio's eyes widened, and the sand shinobi behind her also couldn't believe it. In the distance, Orochimaru looked at everything with a smile on his face. Sunagaku has been thinking about it, and the third cage, which has been missing for more than 10 years, appears. You must be surprised. HMPH, the two cages teamed up to attack Sunagaku. It's really interesting. Orochimaru smiled. Haha, Luo Sha, you are too careless, you were almost sealed just now. Also the body of impure world reincarnation, third cage appears in front of Gaara and others. Sure enough, what a hateful bastard. Unexpectedly, the ancient cage of Sunagaku actually fooled us like this. There was a hint of anger in Granny Chio's eyes. Although Gaara looked calm, she also frowned. Gaara, the current situation has become increasingly dangerous. Granny Chio looked at him. As a member of Sunagakur, we must take action. Gaara nodded slightly. Let's do it. At the same time, he took the lead in attacking. Ninja technique, quicksand torrent. 1 inch. As Gaara injected a large amount of chakra, the large area in front of Luo Sha and the others instantly turned into quicksand. The raging sand waves kept attacking them, as if they were going to swallow everything. However, in the face of such a violent sandstorm, the third case cage was busy using ninjutsu. A large amount of dark sand iron formed a semicircular shield, surrounding the two of them. After the quicksand passed, the sand and iron dispersed, leaving the two of them intact as before. Next, it's time for us to fight back. Third case cage stretched out his hand, and a large amount of sand and iron immediately condensed into a black triangular pyramid. Then, it slammed into the direction of Sunagakur. Boom! Under the violent impact, many ninjas were knocked away. Damn, these placer gold are too heavy. Gaara's expression changed. Just now he tried to use sand to resist. But Luo Sha used placer gold to hold him back, and there was no time to defend against defense. If this continues, everyone in Sunagakur will be in great danger. White secret technique, 3 treasures absorb and collapse. At this time, Granny Chio controlled the puppet and activated the space ninjutsu. Suddenly, the 3 puppets quickly combined to form a space gate. The next second, Tianxing sand iron and gold will be inhaled to drive it away. Humph, it turns out to be Granny Chio. Your puppet ninjutsu is so sharp. Third case cage let out an exclamation of admiration. However, my Kai magnet style is still your nemesis. In an instant, a large amount of sand and iron decomposed, forming countless fine particles distributed in the air. As the sand and iron poured into the puppet's body, Granny Chio's expression suddenly changed. Golden place falls. In the distance, Luo Sha also launched a fierce attack. Under the joint attack of the 2 case cage, everyone in Sunagakur gradually retreated. Sunagakur. At this moment, under the attack of the 2 wind shadows, it was already in chaos. Quick, everyone, help Gaara. In the chaos, Kankuro was still shouting loudly. Baki is also organizing other ninjas to launch attacks. Suddenly, all kinds of wind style, fire style, and water style ninjutsu were blasted at the 2 case cage opposite. However, the power of the ninjutsu performed by ordinary ninjas is as different as that of Gaara and others. Facing the placer gold and sand iron that can defend a large area, it is impossible to break through it all. Instead, the ninjas of Hidden Sand Village gradually collapsed under the attacks of Rasa and the third case cage, and suffered casualties. Gaara frowned. He knew, continue like this, Sunagakur will probably suffer heavy losses in this attack. At this moment, a figure fell from the sky. Sasuke, wearing white clothes with 2 strands of bangs hanging down his forehead, appeared in front of Gaara and others. Gaara, you seem to be in trouble. Sasuke turned back and smiled, the corners of his mouth rising slightly. How could? Uchiha Sasuke, it's you. A look of shock flashed across Gaara's face. Logically speaking, Sasuke should be in Konoha village now. Why is it here? HMPH, it turned out to be Impure World reincarnation. It seems that an old friend has been resurrected. Sasuke ignored Gaara, but looked at the 2 case cages who had bodies of dirt. In the entire ninja world, Orochimaru is the only one who currently has mastery of the earth turn. Sasuke was not too surprised by this scene. Orochimaru, in terms of combat prowess, is only average, but he has extremely difficult life-saving moves. Even if the main body is killed, it can be resurrected again by relying on the curse seal left at an unknown time. It is very difficult to completely kill this man. However, since Sasuke can defeat him once, he is more confident to defeat him a second time. After all, as time goes by, Sasuke's strength is still growing rapidly. The next second, Sasuke formed a seal, and thunder and lightning surrounded his body. He went into lightning-style chakra mode in an instant. At this moment, Sasuke is a master of lightning-style nature transformation and will never be inferior to Raikage. Of course he can also perform this kind of ninjutsu. At the same time, with the opening of the Star Palace, Sasuke's physical strength also increased rapidly. At this moment, he has the fastest speed in the ninja world. And the physical power that surpasses the third Raikage. Call out. In an instant, Sasuke moved. It's like a purple lightning flash across the battlefield. He rushed towards the two Luosha on the opposite side at an astonishing speed. So fast, almost as fast as Raikage. No, he's even faster. Even with a body of filthy earth, Sasuke's speed will completely overwhelm anyone he receives. They quickly manipulated the sand to intercept Sasuke. However, how could the cumbersome movement of sand compare to what Sasuke was doing at this moment? Whether it's sand gold or sand iron, they're all perfect. The next second, Sasuke appeared in front of Luosha and punched out fiercely. Boom! With a terrifying sonic boom. Luosha's whole body was like a baseball being blown away, hitting the cliff directly behind. Rumble! The entire rocky cliff directly shattered and collapsed under the terrible impact, turning into rubble. How is it possible? Even defeated the fourth Kazekage with just one punch. Who is this Konoha shinobi? His strength is too terrifying. The appearance of this scene shocked everyone present. Especially the Sunagaku ninja. His eyes widened, as if he had seen a ghost. According to legend, the Kazekage was able to subdue a Shukaku and stood at the top of the ninja world. He was so vulnerable in front of this young man. Magnet style, sand iron barrier. At this time, third Kazekage reacted and quickly performed ninjutsu. Suddenly, a large amount of black sand and iron was suspended in the air, and began to condense into a barrier full of sharp spikes. The scope is so wide, with third Kazekage as the center, it spreads for hundreds of meters. Oh, it turns out to be a large-scale ninjutsu. Should I restrict my movements? Sasuke smiled. Zizizi. The thunder armor on his body was a bit thicker, and his speed did not slow down at all, and he charged directly towards the third Kazekage. How arrogant, you actually want to use speed to break through the barrier. Upon seeing this, third Kazekage roared immediately. HMPH, damn Konoha brat, you should be torn apart in the iron barrier. In his opinion, Sasuke's approach is simply courting death. Colliding into the sharp and hard sand iron barrier at an extremely high speed, how could the human body possibly hold on? But the next second, a crack appeared in the sand iron barrier. Sasuke was like a ferocious dragon, tearing apart the barrier and slaying his way in. Tear it apart. Sasuke's sharp knife slashed across third Kazecage's neck. In an instant, his head was cut off and his body fell limply to the ground. But soon, a lot of dust flew around, and the filthy body healed quickly. In this state, we are immortal. You kid, you are so naive in trying to defeat us with physical skills. During the third Kazekage, he was still taunting Sasuke. Really, as a magnet-style blood successor, you are so slow to react. It seems that you are too weak under impure world reincarnation. The corners of Sasuke's mouth raised slightly. What? Magnet style? At this time, third Kazekage's face showed shock. Sure enough, he could clearly detect dense black runes appearing on the wound where his head was beheaded by Sasuke. How is it possible? This is Shukaku's power, you. Before he finished speaking, the magnet-style curse pattern left by Sasuke spread rapidly. Soon it covered his entire body. In the distance, Orochimaru was hiding behind a rock with a shocked face. How is it possible that Sasuke's attack comes with a sealing technique? At this time, he could clearly realize that the Fengying he originally controlled was no longer able to move. Obviously, the body of impure world reincarnation is sealed. This guy Sasuke, how long has passed but he has mastered a new power furnace. Fortunately, after being killed by Sasuke once, Orochimaru became more cautious. This time, he only controlled from a distance, and the body did not get close to Sunagaku. If Sasuke discovers him, he will probably be killed quickly. It's time to retreat, Sasuke, but I have plenty of time to play with you. Orochimaru glanced at Sunagaku from a distance and knew that nothing could be done. So, his body quickly dived underground. Obviously, facing Sasuke at this moment, he did not dare to stop at all and decisively chose to escape. Sasuke took care of both Kazekages. He frowned slightly, his figure flashed, and he quickly rushed into the desert outside the Cheyenne village. He's not here. It seems that Orochimaru learned to be smart this time, through remote control. Sasuke didn't find anything through his sensory abilities. Unfortunately, only the shadow clone is present this time. If it were the original body, my perception would be much stronger. Sasuke didn't dwell too much on it. He quickly returned to Sunagaku. Chapter 111. Sunagaku, everyone is still in shock. After Sasuke appeared on the stage, he defeated the two cages with just 2 rough punches. It's incredible. You know, at this moment, the elites of Sunagaku are gathered together, plus Gaara and Granny Chio. Only then could they barely compete with the 3rd generation 4th cage. But as soon as Sasuke took action, he sealed them instantly. This made everyone in Sunagaku understand that Sasuke's strength was completely different from theirs. Sasuke, thank you very much this time. Gaara stood up and bowed solemnly to Sasuke to thank him. If Sasuke hadn't taken action, they would have been able to seal the 2 cages. I'm afraid the casualties will be heavy. Sasuke waved his hand. Gaara, be careful. The purpose of the Akatsuki organization is the tailed beast in you. I'm afraid they won't let it go. Sasuke reminded. Well, I understand, but why are you here? Gaara asked with some confusion. Sasuke should be in Konoha now. Sasuke gave a small smile. In fact, his body is indeed in Konoha. However, Sasuke guessed that they would attack Gaara again. So, he separated a shadow clone and asked him to rush around Sunagaku early. Sure enough, this time they encountered a crisis. However, what Sasuke didn't expect was that Orochimaru would be resurrected. It seems that Obito changed his tactics after feeling the pressure. Sasuke thought to himself, if he was just guessing at first, Obito was already suspicious of him. Now I am 100% sure. After all, he would definitely know Sasuke's strength from the mouth of the resurrected Orochi. In this way, thinking of Sasuke's previous deception, Obito will definitely be able to react. Gaara, what are you going to do next? Sasuke looked at him and asked. Gaara was silent for a moment and spoke slowly. The emergence of the Akatsuki organization is a threat to all major ninja villages. I think we should join forces to deal with them as soon as possible. Otherwise, when they collect the tailed beasts, I'm afraid something even more disastrous will happen. Sasuke smiled. Gaara was still very smart. Although he doesn't know about Obito's project Tsuki no Mi, he can feel something about it. Sasuke, I will propose to Hokage-sama to hold a meeting of the 5 cage. Gaara said loudly. 5 cage talks. Well, I guess Tsunade is very interested. Sasuke thought to himself. Okay, I'll pass the message on to the Hokage. Sasuke left quickly after leaving a few words. Konoha Village, Hokage office. Sasuke told Tsunade what happened this time in Sunagaku. Sasuke, you mean Orochi's resurrection? Tsunade frowned. This man is really tough. You know, she saw with her own eyes before, Sasuke used lightning style to blast him into pieces. Even if you don't die this way, you have to admire the vitality of Orochi. Will the 5 shadows talk? A smile appeared on Tsunade's lips. It is indeed an interesting suggestion. Moreover, Gaara is not the only one who made this suggestion. Tsunade handed a document in his hand to Sasuke. This is. A secret message came from the Land of Thunder. Not long ago, Killer Bee, the 8-Tails Jinchuriki of Cloud Shinobi Village and the younger brother of 4th Raikage, was also kidnapped by Akatsuki. After Raikage found out, he was completely furious, so he sent this document. Tsunade sighed. Raikage and Killer Bee have a very deep relationship. I'm afraid it won't be so easy to deal with this time if I talk to. So that's what it is. Sasuke rubbed his chin. How about, Sasuke, do you want to be my escort and go to the 5 cage conference with me? Tsunade suddenly smiled at him and said. Well, okay. Sasuke nodded slightly. Very good. Tsunade was excited, but on the surface, she asked calmly. Then, 5th Mizukage, how do you explain? That's easy, I just send a clone. Sasuke said calmly. Sasuke, you plan to take both sides, don't you? Tsunade suddenly stretched out his finger, poked his head, and said with a face. Huh, Sasuke had an evil smile on his face. Yes, so what? Then, he knocked Tsunade down. Hey, wait a minute. Soon, Mizukage Terumime and Daing Onoki also received the news. Earth Country, Iwagakure. Onoki looked at the documents on the table with an unhappy look on his face. This guy Raikage, Yuanrin has an accusatory tone. HMPH, my brother was captured by the Akatsuki organization, so I can only be helpless and furious. Onoki snorted coldly. However, the Five Shadows conference is quite interesting. He thought slightly. Not long ago, there seemed to be a fierce battle in the Kingdom of Earth. Based on clues at the scene, it was inferred that one of the parties was a ninja using wrong Dao. That bastard Lao Zi, was he also captured by people from the Akatsuki organization? Although, he and Lao Zi have always had different ideas and even often fought. In the end, Lao Zi was forced to leave and has been traveling around the Kingdom of Kings. However, he is Iwagakure's Four Tails Jinchuriki after all. It is an important fighting force and wealth belonging to the village. Naturally, he cannot tolerate the Akatsuki organization taking Four Tails away. Okay, let's go and see what other movies think this time. Quote, my old bones just need some exercise. Onoki thought to himself. Soon, under his order, Kuretsuchi and Kitu served as his bodyguards. Prepare to leave the village with him and go to the meeting place of the Five Shadows. Wangtu, after I leave the village, you will be in charge of the affairs of the village for the time being. Onoki looked at the tall Huangtu and said, Dad, you have to work hard. If you do well, you might be the next Tsuchikage. At this time, Wang suddenly said playfully, little girl, what are you talking about? Huangtu suddenly opened his eyes and stared at her. Onoki sat on Kitu's back and watched silently. Lois is powerful and the king's as very prestigious in the village. It's a pity that he is too honest and honest. Once he becomes a Tsuchikage. If the guarantee is not complete, you have to deal with other people in the village. Onoki was a little worried that he would suffer a loss. Forget it, I'll wait for the Tsuchikage position until later. Okay, Kitu, let's go quickly. Fog Shadow Village. Genshi and other high-ranking ninjas are bidding farewell to Terumi Mei. Elder, you'd better please come back. Terumi Mei said politely. Beside him were Ching and Shue'er. Of course, no one knows that this Suigetsu is disguised by Sasuke using the transformation technique. However, in this meeting of the Five Cages, Sasuke also ordered that the real Suigetsu and Jugo and others should follow. Well, Mizukage, you must show off our Kurigakure's new look this time. Master Yuan nodded slightly and said, after breaking away from the blood mist policy, Kurigakure will usher in a new historical era. It's time to show a new side to the ninja world. The Land of Thunder. Office building in Cloud Shinobi Village, Reikage. As the glass shattered, a ninja was thrown directly downstairs from the movie. In the office, other ninjas looked trembling with fear. It's really useless. I've been looking for it for so long, but there's still no news. Reikage looked angry. Damn Shao, you dare to target Bai, it's really unforgivable. Reikage clenched his fists and said angrily, Azabu Yi, you must have received a response to the secret message you sent to other ninja villages. Yes, Lord Reikage, the other cages have agreed to your request for a meeting. A man with white hair, wearing fishnet stockings and exaggerated curves, dressed in linen clothes, stepped forward and said, HMPH, this time, I will definitely ask Wolf to hold them accountable. Reikage thought to himself, the members of the Akatsuki organization are all composed of ninjas from each village. Except for Cloud Shinobi Village, the other 4 shinobi villages cannot escape the relationship. Now, having made such a big mistake, Reikage's anger has reached its limit. They must give an explanation. Bang! Just then, the office door opened. The 3 ninjas looked anxious and walked in quickly. The leader is a beauty with exquisite and beautiful facial features, snow-white skin, short light yellow hair, and a hot figure. The other 2 people are Omoi and Karui. Sammy, what are you doing here? Reikage frowned slightly, vaguely guessing the purpose of several people. Master Reikage, Master Killer Bee, were they really captured by the enemy? Reikage heard this and remained silent. Several people looked at each other and understood immediately. We heard that you are going to hold a meeting of the 5 shadows, please be sure to bring us with you. Karui had a hot temper and spoke hurriedly. It's really nonsense. The 5 shadows conference is not a children's playhouse. You don't have to go along. Reikage refused without thinking. But Master Killer Bee is our master, we must rescue him. Karui continued. Humph, in addition to being your master, he is also my brother. I understand what you mean, go back quickly. Reikage frowned and said. Master Rakage, even if you don't take us with you, we will follow you secretly. We can't just sit by and watch this happen. Samyi took a step forward and said. Yes, we must rescue Master. The other two people also said in unison, beg. Rakage was silent for a moment, then cut. Remember, I won't stop and wait for you. Yes, Lord Rakage. When the three heard this, smiles appeared on their faces. Konoha village. Tsunade took Shizune and Sasuke with him, and the three of them prepared to rush to the Land of Iron. A group of elite ninjas from Konoha village, including Kakashi, Might Guy, Nara Shikaku and others, rushed to the entrance of the village to see him off. Master Hokage, it's a long way from here to the Kingdom of Iron, so please be careful. Nara Shikaku said. Don't worry, with Sasuke following us, nothing will happen. Kakashi said. Through this period of time with Sasuke, Inkasi has gradually understood his strength. Of course, Sasuke also gradually showed his power in Konoha village. His status naturally increased accordingly. Now, including Kakashi, Nara and other ninja clan leaders, they all treat Sasuke as an equal. Okay, don't worry, remember to protect Konoha. Tsunade nodded slightly and gave them instructions. Taking Sasuke with them, they quickly launched into the depths of the forest. Sasuke, can't you just use the Flying Thunder God technique to rush over? In the forest, Tsunade turned around and asked. Yes, if you can use the Flying Thunder God technique, you won't waste any time on the road. Shizune also said. The Kingdom of Iron is too remote. I have never been there, so it is naturally impossible to leave behind the chakra technique. Sasuke shook his head slightly. However, I have another way to get there quickly. Sasuke said with a smile. Then, he used the summoning technique and quickly summoned the spirit. Bah! Soon, as Lei Ling let out a roar, he quickly flew high into the sky with the three of them. Fly towards the Kingdom of Iron at an astonishing speed. The Kingdom of Iron is located in the northern part of the ninja world. The closer you get, the colder the weather becomes. The surrounding mountains and rivers are gradually covered with ice and snow. Sasuke, drinking at this time is really fun. Well, after one sip, your body will warm up. Tsunade sat on Lei Ling's back, took a swig of wine, and said with a smile. Tsunade-sama, you have to attend the 5-cage conference later, so you should drink less. Shizune warned carefully from the side. Hey, Shizune, it will take a few days at least to wait for the other cages to arrive. HMPH, don't stop me during this period, I want to have a good drink. Tsunade hummed, then smiled. Right, Sasuke, let's drink. Long. As evening approached, Tsunade and others decided on their destination. On the snowfield, a huge ancient building stands. This is the place where the 5 shadows will meet. Around them, there were a large number of warriors patrolling with swords and golden armors. The Kingdom of Iron is said to be a country of warriors, and it is indeed true. Shizune was a little surprised when he saw this scene. Well, although they are samurai, they also know how to use chakra, and their combat power cannot be underestimated. Tsunade also commented. Sasuke touched his chin. Indeed, the training of these warriors is much simpler than that of ninjas. Therefore, there are many more than ninjas. Due to the military deterrence of the samurai, no ninja village has taken the initiative to provoke the Iron Kingdom for many years. They have always remained a neutral country, and because of this, they were chosen as the location for the 5 Shadows talks. Master Hokage, I didn't expect you to come so quickly. At this moment, the samurai leader Mifune came out. After seeing the 3 Tsunade, he welcomed them with a surprised expression. He originally thought that it would take at least a few days for Tsunade to reach the Kingdom of Iron from Konoha. I didn't expect that it would come in one day. Mifune, it's been a long time since we last met. Tsunade nodded and greeted him. Subsequently, Mifune arranged for the 3 people to enter the building and began to entertain them. A dark underground stronghold. Ju passed all the information he found to Obito. Humph, will the 5 shadows talk? These so-called shadows probably want to take this opportunity to unite. Obito was slightly silent. It just so happens that the implementation of the plan has been blocked recently. It seems that we can take advantage of this opportunity. Ju, act according to the previous plan. Obito suddenly turned to look at him. I know, Orochimaru's side. Tell him to cooperate and make no mistakes this time. Deitu said in a low voice. A few days later, in addition to Tsunade, the other 4 shadows also rushed to the Kingdom of Iron. Gaara, Kankuro and Temari were the second group to arrive. Sasuke was not surprised by this. The Kingdom of Wind is closer to the Kingdom of Iron than Konoha, and Gaara controls sand and can float in the air and move forward. The speed is faster than other shadows. The next person to arrive was Raikage, except for the original 2 Daruas. Sasuke unexpectedly discovered that Samai's 3-person team had also followed. It seems like they have quite deep feelings for Killer Bee. Although, Sasuke didn't think they would be of much use. After all, in the ninja world, personal strength is often more important than quantity. If the enemy can really defeat Killer Bee and take him away successfully against an enemy of this level, Sammy and the others have no chance of winning. Killer Bee has barely surpassed the strength of an ordinary Kage level, and is far beyond what Samui and other ordinary Jonin can achieve. However, the appearance of the beauty Sammy also made Sasuke feel happy. Different from Tsunade and Terumi Mei, Sammy has a unique style. Her snow-white skin and exaggerated curves are very eye-catching. Tisk, this broad mind can probably compete with Tsunade, maybe even bigger than Tsunade. Sasuke looked at Samai's exaggerated curves and couldn't help but think. No wonder, Sammy often feels sore shoulders. Well, the burden is indeed heavy. Then, Mizukage, Terumi Mei and others arrived. Seeing Sasuke, Terumi Mei couldn't help but wink at him. Especially, when she met Tsunade, the atmosphere seemed a little delicate. Both women looked at each other. Terumi Mei's first impression is that Tsunade is really big. No wonder it attracts Sasuke. Hokage's figure is really hot. Terumi Mei touched her lips. In this regard, she seemed to be slightly inferior. However, being a Mizukage has other advantages. Tsunade saw Terumi Mei and nodded secretly. Her intellectual and elegant temperament is indeed very attractive. The two of them understood each other tacitly, stretched out their hands to shake hands, and showed a smile. Originally, Sasuke looked nervous. After seeing this, I felt relieved. Tsunade took a few final steps and whispered in his ear. Why, are you afraid that we will fight as soon as we meet? Sasuke heard this and nodded calmly. Haha, don't worry, we are not children. A smile appeared on Tsunade's lips. I won't make it difficult for you. Woman, if you perform well, I will give you a reward tonight. Sasuke said softly, causing a hint of shyness to appear on Tsunade's face. Chunin couldn't help but feel a sense of expectation. Finally, Onoki and Kuretsuchi arrived belatedly. Tsuchikage, you are too slow. All of us are waiting for you. Fourth Raikage frowned and said. Hey, Raikage, you need to experience the elderly. I am an old man, and it cost me half my life just to come to the Kingdom of Iron. Onoki sighed and said deliberately. This guy is planning to rely on his old age to show off. Including Tsunade, everyone else mentioned it in their minds. Hey, old man, you obviously sat on red soil all the way here, so you're not tired at all. At this time, Kuretsuchi suddenly said. Hey, Kuretsuchi, what are you talking about? Onoki's face became a little unbearable and he scolded. It is really speechless for my granddaughter to always make trouble for herself. When the others heard this, they couldn't help laughing. Is this the silhouette of the legs later? These legs really deserve their reputation. Sasuke looked at Kuretsuchi slightly and thought to himself. The black earth in front of her, short black hair, black pupils, and beautiful face. She was wearing a red tights, but her lower body was wearing black mesh pants, revealing her fair and slender thighs, very hot. Okay, now that all 5 of you are here, let's hold a meeting of the 5 shadows as agreed. As the person in charge, Mifune spoke. The 5 shadows nodded slightly and took their seats one after another. Well, let me tell you first. Gaara suddenly spoke. Feng Ying, as a junior, you seem to be very impatient at a young age. However, as seniors haven't spoken. When will it be your junior's turn to speak? Tsuchikage Onoki said calmly. That old man is really disgusting. The 2 Kankuro stood behind Gaara and whispered when they saw this. It seems that not only the Kazekage, but the entire Sunagaku's upbringing is not very good. Anamu moved his ears, stared at the Gaara trio and said. Kankuro, you idiot, please keep your voice down. Temari cursed under his breath. Gaara was unmoved and said calmly. As one of the 5 shadows, our status is equal. As for the issue of upbringing, I won't bother Shadow Sao. Haha, Feng Ying's tone is really quite. Onoki was about to reply. Hey Onoki, we didn't come here to listen to your old man complaining. Tsunade said without politeness. Don't always interrupt others, otherwise it will be too rude. What do you think? Onoki was suddenly speechless. This guy Tsunade still has such a hot temper. Hokage, with such big breasts, it's difficult. Kuretsuchi behind Onoki glanced at Tsunade and hummed softly. What, little girl, are you envious? Unfortunately, with your malnourished look, envy is useless. The corners of Tsunade's mouth raised slightly. His eyes swept over Kuretsuchi's flat chest intentionally or unintentionally. Kuretsuchi suddenly felt as uncomfortable as eating a fly. Gaara, go ahead. Tsunade motioned to Gaara to continue. Gaara gave him a friendly smile. Well, I am also one of the Jinchuriki. The Akatsuki organization recently attacked Sunagaku twice. Coupled with the attack on Cloud Shinobi Village, I think we should unite as soon as possible to eradicate them. Gaara spoke out his proposal. Join forces. As far as I know, the leader of the Akatsuki organization is the ninja from Rain Shinobi Village. An organization established by a mere ninja from a small country actually wants to force the 5 major countries to join forces. What a shame and a disgrace. Onoki snorted, clearly not satisfied with this proposal. Tsuchikage, at this time, don't care about the so-called face, otherwise it will be too pedantic. Gaara glanced at him coldly. Funnying, what do you, a little kid, know? With the strength of our Earth Kingdom, we don't need to rely on others at all. Onoki flatly refused. Suddenly, the atmosphere on the field became a little subtle. Sasuke observed the situation carefully. It seems that this old guy Onoki is somewhat similar to Third Hokage. Sasuke could see that the most important reason why Onoki disagreed with this plan was that he was worried about his own power. In the land of Earth, Onoki is the supreme leader Tsuchikage and has the highest authority. Once the 5 major countries form an alliance, there is no doubt that the leader of the alliance will be superior to the 5 shadows. At that time, even if he is Tsuchikage, he will be dwarfed in front of the alliance leader. The power status will naturally drop a lot. This is what Onoki couldn't bear, so he refused the proposal unceremoniously. Tsuchikage-sama, do you want to watch helplessly as the Akatsuki organization takes away the tailed beasts from each country? At this time, Terumi Mei spoke. By then, with the madness of the Shao organization, there may be some disaster. Tsuchikage, 753, glanced at him. So what if the tailed beast is taken away? The power of the tailed beast is not that easy to control. As far as I know, in the entire ninja world, apart from Senju Hashirama, the only one who can truly control tailed beasts is Uchiha Madara. Even if they get the tailed beast, can they still revive Uchiha Madara and the others? Onoki said calmly. That's enough, stop talking nonsense. Reikage roared and slammed the table. Boom, the huge wooden table was immediately smashed into a big crater by his blow. When the other guards saw this, they stood in front of their respective figures with nervous expressions. What about controlling the tailed beast, Uchiha Madara? I don't care at all. Now, my dearest brother has been captured by people from the Akatsuki organization. You must give me an explanation. Reikage said angrily. Explain. Movie, aren't you dizzy? Onoki said with a puzzled look. The one who captured Killer Bee was the Akatsuki organization. What does it have to do with our other ninja villages? Reikage glanced at him. Old man Tsuchikage, don't act stupid here. Many members of the Akatsuki organization are rebellious ninjas from your 4 ninja villages. What's more, according to my investigation, Onoki, including you, many Kage have taken advantage of Akatsuki. Use. Gaara, Terumi Mei showed a hint of surprise. Reikage, what's going on? HMPH, you young people are still kept in the dark. In the past ninja wars, Onoki, you guys secretly hired Akatsuki to participate in the battle, that's right. It is precisely because of your connivance and support that the small one becomes stronger and stronger. Onoki fell into silence. Then, he paused and said. Not only we, Iwagakure, have done this, but Konoha, Mist Shinobi, and Sand Shinobi have all participated. Danzo of Konoha colluded with Orochimaru a long time ago, when he was still a member of Akatsuki, not to mention he also participated in the coup in Rain Shinobi Village. As for Kurigakure, it is rumored that he was invaded and controlled by Akatsuki's ninjas and committed many crimes. Onoki talked eloquently. The secrets he revealed made Gaara, Temari, Terumi-me and other young ninjas gradually widen their eyes. Only then did they learn that the previous Akatsuki was an employment organization. They were caught between the major powers, and under the employment and orders of other ninja villages, they launched wars. The ninja world is really dark. Gaara sighed. It seems that it is not that easy to unite the 5 major countries. Everyone, if you continue to argue like this, I'm afraid this meeting will have no results. Why don't you listen to what I say next? At this moment, Mifune, the leader of the Iron Kingdom, came out to smooth things over. When the others heard this, they all looked at him. My proposal is similar to Kazekage-sama. How about the 5 major ninja villages unite and temporarily form a ninja alliance, and then disband after the Akatsuki organization is wiped out? Onoki frowned. No need, a mere rebel ninja organization doesn't need such a big fanfare. However, the Akatsuki organization has captured the tailed beasts. Once they use the tailed beasts to attack the village, the consequences will be. What's more, according to intelligence, Orochimaru seems to have colluded with small organizations again. They even used impure world reincarnation, a forbidden technique, and summoning to produce the strongest men in history. I'm afraid it's not that easy to completely eliminate them. Mifune said slowly. When the 5 shadows heard this, they all fell into silence. If an alliance is really formed, who should be the commander-in-chief and be responsible for coordinating everything? Onoki asked the key point. Humph, of course Reikage, will be in charge. You ninja villages are all more or less related to Akatsuki, how can I let you control it? The movie snorted and said dissatisfied. If he really serves as the leader of the ninja alliance, then the talks are not bad. He can also use this to command the entire ninja world to completely wipe out the Akatsuki organization and rescue Killer Bee. In my opinion, the person most suitable to be the leader of the alliance is Lord Hokage Tsunade. Mifune suddenly spoke. What did you say? Mifune, stop joking. Why does Tsunade, a female-born person, serve as the leader of the alliance? That's right, Onoki, will never agree to such a thing. Both Onoki and Reikage objected. Tsuchikage and Reikage, why not listen to my opinion? First of all, Kazekage is too young. Whether it is strength or qualifications, he is obviously not enough. Mizukage-sama also has a similar problem, and it is rumored that the birthplace of Akatsuki is in Kurigakure. Gaara and Terumi-me frowned, but did not speak to refute. Master Reikage has a bad temper. If I really want you to serve as the leader of the coalition, something unexpected might happen. Mifune glanced at the table that Reikage had broken and said. Acting solely on emotion and putting power above all else, if Reikage-sama forces the alliance to lead, I'm afraid it will fall apart in the end. Several other people heard this and nodded slightly. Reikage gritted his teeth and looked angry. As for Tsuchikage Onoki, given what happened between him and Akatsuki in the past, I think that none of the 4 Kage present would agree. Furthermore, judging from his age, Tsuchikage-sama may not be able to take on such a big responsibility. It seems that only Hokage-sama is suitable. Mifune gave his reasons. Upon hearing this, Tsunade's eyes lit up and he smiled. Mifune-sama is right, and it is indeed appropriate for Hokage-sama to take charge. At this time, Gaara expressed his direct support for Tsunade. Not long ago, in the battle with Scorpion, if Tsunade hadn't come to support not just him, the entire Sunagakure will suffer heavy losses. Later, facing the attack of the 2 Kazekage, Sasuke took action to solve the problem for them. Plus the alliance between Konoha and Sunagakure. Gaara will support you both emotionally and rationally. Tsuchikage Onoki frowned when he saw this. He also didn't expect that Gaara would openly support Tsunade as the leader of the alliance. Mifune, you mean, you want Konoha to be superior to Rock Shinobi? At this time, Terumi-me still spoke. Tsuchikage-sama, I think Mifune's proposal seems good, you can consider it. After saying that, she smiled at Tsunade. What? Mizukage, how come even you? Everyone present was surprised. Especially Reikage and Onoki, their expressions were even uglier. Mizukage, Terumi and Tsunade, since when did they have this kind of friendship? The two of them murmured to themselves, but in this case, two of the five shadows support Tsunade, and with her own vote, the situation may be unfavorable. Sure enough, Tsunade heard this and looked at everyone and said, "Since Mizukage and Kazekage both believe in me, I will definitely lead you to defeat the Akatsuki organization." Wait, Tsunade, the stakes are high, I think. As soon as Onoki opened his mouth, a cold voice sounded. "Old man Tsuchikage, what are you talking about? The Kazekage and Mizukage have agreed, but you are still reluctant to hand over Tsuchikage's power," Sasuke said, staring at him coldly. "Huh, where does this kid come from? You are so brave, you dare to be rude to me. Tsunade, do you need me to discipline your subordinates in Konoha?" Onoki was frustrated at every turn in the meeting, and he was already very angry. The Konoha boy in front of him actually looked down on himself, which immediately made him furious. He was trying to give Sasuke some color. Suddenly, the six-pointed star pattern appeared in Sasuke's eyes, and Fu's mental power swept out. Onoki only felt that a cold and dangerous aura locked onto him. These eyes, are they Mangekyo Sharingan? Cold sweat broke out on Onoki's forehead, and he couldn't believe it. The look in Sasuke's eyes was cold and dangerous, as if he had seen through him. What is the legendary Mangekyo? Behind Reikage, two Weishi's guards were also shocked. He has read the information and it is very clear that Mangekyo Sharingan, every eye-opener, has powerful strength, not weaker than the shadow. Old man Tsuchikage, as long as I am willing, I can remind you of the feeling of seeing an old friend at any time. Sasuke sneered. Uchiha, Madara. Sasuke's words made Onoki immediately recall his powerlessness when fighting Uchiha Madara. The young man in front of him gave him the same feeling as Madara, dangerous and self-reliant. Immediately, Onoki shut his mouth knowingly. Well, it actually shocked Tsuchikage. This guy is not simple. Reikage frowned as he watched this scene. Things were getting out of his control. Okay, since everyone has no objections, let's form a ninja coalition and elect Tsunade as the leader of the coalition. Mifune just spoke. A sneer suddenly sounded. Form a ninja coalition. What an interesting proposal. The space in the center of the five shadows suddenly cracked, and Uchiha Obito's figure slowly appeared. You. Daughter you shall. The red cloud and black robe worn by Obito immediately made everyone recognize his identity. Damn it Akatsuki, give me back by. Reikage roared, the thunder armor appeared on his body, and he rushed forward. He punched Obito straight in the head. Boom, a big hole was made in the ground. The movie looked at Obito behind him with a shocked expression. How is it possible? My attack actually penetrated his body. This strange scene made Reikage calm down a bit. HMPH, Reikage, aren't you going to continue attacking? Obito's mocking tone came. Be patient, watch the movie, and listen to what this Akatsuki wants to say. Onoki regained his composure and said, HMPH, as expected, ginger is still hotter than old. Tsuchikage, you are very patient. Obito said with his hands clasped in front of him. When dealing with you, there is no room for impatience. I understand this. Onoki looked at Obito. In that case, I, Uchiha Madara, will explain the situation. Obito's words made everyone look shocked. Stop joking, Uchiha Madara is dead. HMPH, you are a hypocrite, trying to use Madara's name to scare us. Onoki snorted coldly, with a look of disdain. Really, Onoki, you must not have forgotten the usual fear you felt when facing Susanoo. What? How? How did you know? Onoki's eyes widened. No one should know about the humiliation of Uchiha Madara back then except them. Sasuke, it seems that they are just like you at the beginning, they seem to be limited by their self-awareness. Obito looked up at Sasuke. Sasuke spread his hands, I don't care about your identity. Whether you are Madara or not, it doesn't stop me from killing you in the end. HMPH, are the wings hard after turning on Mangekyo? A trace of anger flashed in Obito's eyes. It's a shame he wanted to bring Sasuke into his camp. Unexpectedly, he was fooled. But the guy with the mask, even if you are Uchiha Madara, now that our five shadows are gathered together, it is a good opportunity to keep you. Tsunade clenched his fists. He signaled with his eyes that the other four were ready to take action. Tsunade, you are still so eager, but before taking action against me, I think Konoha should be facing big trouble now. Uchiha Obito sneered. Konoha, what did you guys do? Tsunade stared at him closely. Originally, Sasuke, who was about to take action, also stopped. Fukage, listen, I declare war on you in the name of Uchiha Madara. Remember, the fourth ninja war has begun. Everyone present was slightly silent. You are really a lunatic. You dare to declare war directly on the 5 major countries. However, what qualifications do you have to be the enemy of the 5 major countries on your own? Onoki spoke. Qualifications. Of course I have it, just the 6-tailed beasts I captured. In addition, through impure world reincarnation, Onoki, including your master second Tsuchikage, second Mizukage, the original 7 ninja swordsmen, the golden horn silver horn of Cloud Shadow Village, the third Raikage, etc. These famous and powerful men in the history of the ninja world are now under my control. Do you think I am qualified? Obito said slowly. Third Raikage, you damn guy, you actually. When fourth Raikage heard this, his hair stood on end, and the thunder on his body kept flashing. He was obviously extremely angry. In my opinion, if you want to deal with me, you might as well contact your own village. HMPH, maybe they have been destroyed by now. As soon as Obito finished speaking, his figure quickly disappeared. Sasuke, can you say? Tsunade had an ominous feeling. Konoha Village. Before the 5 shadows talk begins. At this moment, it is in prosperity and peace. At the outermost edge of the village, a barrier was felt opening. At the same time, there were ninjas from the patrol class doing routine inspections. In the forest outside Konoha Village, Tiandao Pain and Konan appeared in black robes. Pen, are you really going to do what Madara said and attack Konohagakure directly? According to intelligence, Nine-Tails Jinchuriki was taken away by Jiraiya. Even if we attack Konoha, we may not be able to find out his whereabouts. Konan said slowly. I know, but this is one of the ways to get help from Nine-Tails people. Otherwise, it would be impossible to find out where Jiraiya is hiding based on intelligence. Tiandao Pain said, I have made up my mind, you don't need to persuade me anymore. Konan, just wait outside the village. Once we get news from Nine-Tails, we will retreat immediately. After Tiandao Pain left a word, he summoned the beast Dao Pain. Soon, the animal path was thrown out of Konohagakure at an alarming speed. Everyone, Tsunade-sama is not here, please keep your spirits up and maintain your professional skills at all times. We must protect the safety of the village. In a tower, the ninjas from the barrier class were talking about something. Suddenly, the ninja with his head frowned. No, someone broke into the barrier and broke into Konoha Village directly. What, Captain, how many people are there? Judging from the reaction, there is only one person. However, we must be vigilant at this critical moment. Quick, we will pass the news to the people in charge in the village immediately. As they deliver the message, Pain, a beast who looked like a Lolita, immediately used the summoning technique. The other 5 Pain were instantly summoned by him. Well, let's get started. Konoha must be plunged into chaos to find an opportunity. When Tiandao Pain said this, his eyes showed a hint of cruelty. As a result, Shiradao Pain stretched out his mechanical arm, and a large number of missiles were launched from his body. Boom! Without warning, violent explosions immediately occurred throughout Konoha Village. Houses collapsed, black smoke billowed, and the cries of the crowd immediately came from the village. What happened? Kakashi, who was sitting on the rooftop with a leisurely expression and reading a novel, suddenly woke up. Looking at the collapsed houses everywhere due to the attack, I suddenly frowned. Damn it, could it be an attack by the Akatsuki organization at this time? In the village, Tsunade and Sasuke just left. Tsunade, as a well-known medical ninja in the ninja world, can cooperate with Katsuyu to perform a wide range of medical ninjutsu. With her here, we can definitely try our best to reduce the casualties caused by the enemy's attack. As for Sasuke, not to mention, he is truly the strongest person in Konoha Village today. When the 2 strong men left, this was when Konoha Village was very weak. Kakashi thought of this and immediately used the body flicker technique to leave. At this moment, Konoha village is in chaos. Six Paths Pain Town is looking for ninjas to take action. Tell me, where is Nine Tails Jinchuriki? If you don't tell me, you will die. He stretched out a sharp black stick in his hand, pierced the chest of a ninja, and asked. Asshole, what Nine Tails Jinchuriki? We don't know. Soon, you hateful guy, you will be defeated by us Konoha shinobi. The Konoha shinobi spoke stubbornly. Really, you are very brave, but it's a pity that you are too weak. Pain stretched out his hand, and the black rod pierced his body. On the other side, the beast Dao Pain continued to use the summoning technique. As white smoke came out, a giant creature with Rinnegan-shaped eyes appeared. On the other side, a huge rhinoceros also appeared. The two summoning beasts raised their hooves and continued to grow towards the surrounding buildings. Suddenly, Kakashi and Might Guy appear. Damn it, it's actually a huge summoning beast. Might Guy frowned and said, Guy, deal with them quickly, otherwise Konoha village will suffer greater losses. Kakashi reveals Sharingan. He formed a seal with his hands, and with a bang, a shadow clone was immediately created. Immediately afterwards, both Kakashi's hands lit up with Reikiri at the same time. Lightning style, Thunder Legend. The two Kakashi used Reikiri to quickly form sharp lightning chains, cutting through them. Laugh. The huge rhinoceros was cut in half and fell to the ground instantly. Kakashi, in this case, I can't lose to you. 8 inner gates, the 6th gate opens. As Might Guy roared, green chakra air waves surrounded him. With Might Guy punching at an incredible speed. His fists rubbed against the air, forming numerous air cannons. They are burning, like balls of fire, constantly blasting towards the giant bull in front. The two giant bulls that were attacked quickly turned into white smoke and dissipated. Damn it, a new summoning beast has appeared. Kakashi and the two had just solved the trouble at hand, when they suddenly found out. In the distance, another huge centipede appeared. It flipped its body at will, and its huge size crushed the house beneath it. Kakashi, the situation is not good. Might Guy also frowned, if he didn't find out the source of the summoning technique. Even if they can deal with Summoningmon every time, before that, Summoningmon will bring harm to Konoha. That's. At this moment, Kakashi keenly noticed that several people wearing black robes seemed to appear in the village. Guy, you saw it, those guys from the Akatsuki organization. Kakashi, split up, let's defeat them first. The two used the body flicker technique and immediately chased Pain. Beside an abandoned building, human world Pain caught up with Iruka. Say, where is Uzumaki Naruto? What, Naruto? Are these guys the Akatsuki that Jiraiya is talking about? A trace of panic flashed across Iruka's face, but he still managed to speak. HMPH, I don't know. Even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you. Konoha village will not betray its companions. You have some backbone, but you will end up dead. Pain said coldly, it was about to extract his soul to check the information. At this moment, Kakashi kicked him out, sending him flying and hitting the wall heavily. I said, no wonder you guys deliberately use large summoning beasts to cause chaos. It turns out that the real purpose is to obtain information through secret searches. Kakashi said coldly. Iruka, hurry up, leave now. Yes, Kakashi-senpai. Iruka didn't hesitate, he knew that he was weak and staying would only drag Kakashi down. So, he quickly left the battlefield. At this time, 2 more figures descended from the sky. Boom, the 2 huge bodies landed on the ground, causing the ground to tremble. Choji, Dingzo, I didn't expect it to be you. Kakashi turned his head and smiled. Kakashi, let's help you. Just as Dingzuo spoke, a summoning beast rushed over from a distance. This is a giant crab with huge double claws and foam coming out of its mouth. These summoning beasts are really difficult to deal with. Dingzuo sighed, and then he used ninjutsu. Ninja technique, formation group. With a bang, he instantly transformed into a giant, and then attacked Summoningmon. The huge iron rod hit the crab hard. Boom, the terrifying force instantly knocked it to the ground. Oh, did you find an important person in Konoha village? At this time, Tiandao Pain, who was not far away, turned his head. Hitaki Kakashi, the man known as the Copy Ninja. He had heard of Kakashi's name when the Akatsuki organization was first established. Definitely the core jonin of Konoha, his status is not low. HMPH, Kakashi, you should know the whereabouts of Nine Tails. Soon, Tiandao Pain fell from the sky. It fell in front of Kakashi and Choji. There's another one here, and the lines on the eyes are so similar too. Kakashi thought of summoning Mon from before. Is it possible that those summoning beasts are controlled by the two Akatsuki in front of me? While Kakashi was thinking, Copy Ninja, where is Nine Tails? Tiandao Pain spoke coldly. What a stupid question, do you think we will reveal Naruto's whereabouts? Kakashi said calmly. HMPH, that's fine. A Konoha ninja like you might become an obstacle to our Akatsuki. Now, I will send you directly on your way. Tiandao Pain took out the black stick. Kakashi, let us pretend to attack first, and you can launch the attack at the right time. Akamaiki Dingzo spoke, and at the same time he waved the iron rod in his hand and slammed it. Buzz. The moment the attack approached, he only felt a terrible force erupt, and the iron rod in his hand was bounced away. A shock wave swept over. Boom. A big hole was blown into the ground. Akamaiki Dingzao was completely ejected and hit the building behind him hard, causing a cloud of dust. Father. Akamichi Choji looked shocked. Even Kakashi's pupils shrank. What happened to the attack just now? Kakashi didn't see any movement from the person in front of him. Not only did Dante's attack fail, he was also ejected. Akamaiki Dinzuo climbed up from the ruins in embarrassment. Kakashi, this guy's ninjutsu is very strange, do you see anything? And it's so powerful that my whole body is about to fall apart now. I probably won't be able to withstand a few more attacks. Akamaiki Dingza spoke. Kakashi frowned. It's a bit of a guess, but I'm not sure. Let's continue to test it out. As Kakashi spoke, he formed a seal with his hands, and a wolf made of thunder and lightning suddenly appeared. It roared and rushed forward at an alarming speed. But the moment it approached, Tiandao Pain flicked it slightly, causing it to turn into ashes and disappear. What? Actually, even ninjutsu is ineffective. Kakashi couldn't help but widen his eyes. Kakashi, what's going on now? Akamaiki Dingzao asked on the side. He did not see the ability of the enemy in front of him at all. I'm afraid it's the ability to reflect all attacks and even ninjutsu, centered on oneself. Kakashi said uncertainly. All attacks, it's such a tricky ability. Then how can we defeat him? Sweat beaded on the foreheads of Choji and his son. This ability may be defective, continue to test. Kakashi spoke and waved his hand at the same time, and several kunai quickly flew towards Pain. HMPH, what a boring attack. The corners of Tien Dao's mouth raised slightly, and the kunai was easily flicked away. Dingzo, keep up with your attacks. At this time, Kakashi's voice came. Akamaiki Dingzo did not hesitate, his palm quickly grew in size, and he slapped by Pain fiercely. BCEI, Tiandao Pain jumped high and dodged the attack. Boom, the ground shook, and a huge palm print appeared. That's it, I gradually understand. A flash of realization flashed in Kakashi's eyes. As expected of you, Kakashi, please explain. His rebound ability should have a cooling time. Otherwise, there was no need for him to dodge the attack just now. Instead, he should have directly bounced you away. That's right, with such a powerful ability, if he had no weaknesses, he would be invincible. Akamaiki Dingza nodded slightly. In other words, to defeat the enemy in front of you, you must seize the gap in his ability. Kakashi analyzed. As expected of the clone ninja who is famous in the ninja world, Kakashi, you are very smart. My abilities can be analyzed through a few contacts. People like you should be eradicated as soon as possible. Tiandao Pain said. At the same time, after Human Dao left, Shiradao Pain rushed over. Damn it, he actually came with companions to support him. The expressions of the three Kakashi people changed slightly. It was difficult for them to deal with one person, let alone two people. Shiradao Pain's head suddenly lit up, and a beam of intense laser blasted towards Kakashi and the others. Be careful, stay away. Boom. With the violent explosion, a large crater appeared on the ground. Kakashi and the other three took the opportunity to hide behind the ruins. Hey, these invading guys are very capable. Now that they have gathered together, it will be more difficult to deal with them. Kakashi, I launched a feint attack, you must seize the opportunity this time. Akamaiki Dingza spoke. But, can you withstand his ability? Kakashi hesitated. Don't worry, even if I get hit once or twice, I won't die that easily. Dingzo smiled, pretending to be relaxed. The next second, he and Choji suddenly jumped into the sky and turned into an army of flesh bombs. The two of them slammed into Pain at an astonishing speed. Humph, since you want to die, then I will help you. Pain concentrated energy all over his body and exploded violently. Akamaiki Dingza and the two were instantly ejected. But in their hands, a thick iron chain suddenly appeared and surrounded him. Now, Kakashi. The ground cracked, and Kakashi held Reikiri and blasted towards Tendo Pain. What? When did he? Tiandao Pain was shocked. Unexpectedly, Kakashi touched his feet without saying a word. Spotting the gap in his cooling time, he launched a fatal sneak attack. However, just when Kakashi thought he had succeeded, Shiradao on the side suddenly stretched out his mechanical arm and blocked his attack. Zetsa. Mechanical parts were scattered all over the floor. A trace of killing intent flashed in Tiandao Pain's eyes. It's a really good time, but it's a pity. Now, go to hell, Shinra Tenjong. Boom. With Pain as the center, a violent explosion occurred instantly. The smoke cleared. Tiandao Pain looked around with interest. A large number of surrounding buildings were destroyed, leaving ruins on the ground. HMPH, Hitaki Kakashi, he should have died from this blow. Just when Tiandao Pain thought so, in the distance, two figures suddenly appeared. Fortunately, I came back at the critical moment. Kakashi, you almost died. Sasuke looked at the rescued Kakashi and whispered. Sasuke, you came back at the right time. Kakashi showed a wry smile. These guys from the Akatsuki organization are too powerful. Just the ability to control gravity with one hand makes it almost impossible for Kakashi to deal with it. This guy is not simple. He should be the nominal leader of Akatsuki, Pain. Sasuke turned his head. If it hadn't been for his heavenly hand power just now, it would have been difficult to save Kakashi. Hokage Building. Tsunade stood on the top of the building, frowning. Damn Akatsuki, you actually took advantage of the Five Shadows meeting to attack Konoha Village. Various parts of Konoha Village suffered a lot of damage due to the attack of Shiradao. Collapsed ruins, billowing smoke, and occasionally the shouts of villagers can be heard. So, Tsunade didn't hesitate at all and immediately used the summoning technique. With a bang, a giant Katsuyu appears in front of the Hokage building. Tsunade-sama, are you okay? Katsuyu's gentle voice came out. Well, I'd like to trouble you this time. Use medical ninjutsu with me to help the injured people in the village. Nu. Katsuyu nodded slightly, and then decomposed instantly, turning into numerous smaller Katsuyu, and quickly swam around the village. Tsunade sat cross-legged and began to perform medical ninjutsu. What a surprise, Uchiha Sasuke, it's you. Tendo Pain looked at Sasuke in front of him and said softly. There was a hint of fear on his face, and he thought to himself. Just now, what happened? Even he didn't understand the scene where Sasuke used his tricks to get Kakashi away. This made him realize instantly that the Sasuke in front of him was not simple. Suddenly, a beast who looks like a loli appears. There was a bang. She cast the summoning spell and instantly summoned the other Pain over. Rinnegan vs. Six Paths Pain. The corner of Sasuke's mouth raised. Pain's strength was far beyond the ordinary cage level. If it were someone else facing it, I'm afraid it would be difficult to win. But Sasuke is obviously not one of them. Soon, Six Paths Pain set up their formation and stood ready. Uchiha Sasuke, if it were you, you should be able to fully understand it. We are obviously the same kind of people, why do you still go against me? Tiandao Pain said, are they the same kind of people? Unfortunately, their positions are different, so there is no need to communicate. Sasuke shook his head slightly. His left eye moved slightly. The power of the heavenly hand is activated instantly. Tendo Pain appeared in front of Sasuke with a look of astonishment. Zizizi. The sharp Chidori instantly penetrated his chest. How is it possible? What kind of ability is this? Kabu Pain's mouth was bleeding, and he looked at Sasuke with a look of disbelief. With the power of Heaven's hand, there is no way to defend against it. Even if he had been very cautious before, he still got tricked. Damn, summoning technique. Behind, the animal path immediately summoned a huge split dog. Split dog's body blocks pain from behind. Ho! It roared at Sasuke in front of it. A special summoning beast that splits into many bodies the more it is attacked. Indeed, it is difficult to defeat it using conventional means. But, Sasuke opened his right eye suddenly. Click. The split dog's body shattered instantly like a mirror. Immediately afterwards, a huge space channel like a black hole appeared behind it. In an instant, the split dog with a broken body was sucked away and disappeared. Mangekyo Sharingan Eye Technique, Takamagahara. Use time and space ninjutsu to directly banish the split dog. I see, Uchiha Sasuke, you have amazing eye skills. At this time, Tiandao Pain appeared again from behind. Apparently, he has been resurrected from hell. Unfortunately, Uchiha Sasuke, we Pain Six Paths are immortal. Tiandao Pain said coldly. Immediately afterwards, the summoning technique was activated again, and a chameleon with Rinnegan-shaped eyes appeared. The next second, the chameleon flicked its tongue. It took Six Paths Pain into its body, and then became invisible and disappeared. HMPH, since it's a pupil technique and you can't see the target, how should you use it? Tiandao Pain's voice came. It's interesting, but unfortunately, I found that the enemy doesn't just rely on his eyes. Sasuke smiled. His powerful mental power swept out, instantly activating his perception ability. Sure enough, the next second he noticed that Pain's Six Paths chakra appeared behind him. Moreover, it is rapidly approaching him. The chameleon's huge tongue shot out. However, Sasuke jumped slightly and dodged the attack. Then, in midair, Sasuke's purple chakra surged out of his body, and he instantly transformed into a huge Susanoo. Call out. Purple chakra arrows shot. The chameleon's head was hit instantly, and then it appeared in its original form and disappeared with a bang. How is it possible that you can actually discover? Several Pains looked at Sasuke with surprised expressions on their faces. HMPH, the trick of simply blocking the line of sight is too rough for me. Sasuke lifts Susanoo. Then, he moved his body, as fast as a phantom, and killed Hell Road Pain behind him. HMPH, Six Paths as the key to Pain's resurrection. What? He actually knows our secret. Tendo Pain was completely shocked when he saw Sasuke approaching quickly. He violently launched the Shinra Tensei, trying to blast Sasuke away. However, as the power of the Heavenly Hand was activated, his figure flashed in the distance. Then, a Chidori blade of light flashed through the air and split the Hell Realm into two. Finished one first. Then, the muscles in Sasuke's right arm swelled and his eyes flashed. The next second, Hungry Kido appeared in front of him. Boom! Sasuke punched out, and the terrifying power directly knocked him out. 2 solve. Then, the huge purple Susan appeared. Several purple bows and arrows emitting ghostly light shot out. The 3 realms of Shira, animal, and human were shot through by bows and arrows before they could even react. Their bodies shattered and turned into black holes and disappeared. Only Tendo Pain used the Shinra Tensei to crush Sasuke's bow and arrow at the moment it was shot, saving his life. How is that possible? His attack was too fast. Six Paths Pain view sharing. They clearly saw Sasuke launching an attack, but they had no time to defend themselves. Under Sasuke's ninjutsu, he was eliminated without any resistance. Now, you are the only one left. Sasuke looked at Tendo Pain, the corners of his mouth raised slightly. Too strong. Tiandao Pain looked at the scene in front of him in disbelief. Uchiha Sasuke's display of strength amazed him. Even, deep down in his heart, he couldn't believe it. Originally, he thought that he was the only true god in the entire ninja world. Has the power to suppress everything. And his fight with Hanzo in Rain Shinobi Village and everything that happened later made him more determined to this idea. But the appearance of Sasuke completely broke his godhead. It turns out that there are even more powerful people in the ninja world. No, Nagato, it's time for you to reveal your true form. Sasuke turned his head and looked at Pain in the air. How on earth did you know Pain's secret? Tendo Pain looked at Sasuke with confusion on his face. Whether it's to kill the Hell Realm first and prevent them from resurrecting. Or later, he used super strong physical skills to avoid evil. Kido's ability, 727. All this made Tendo Pain understand that Sasuke had already known his trump card. Even the secret that they are all corpses controlled by Nagato is revealed. I also know a little about Rinnegan's abilities. After all, the power of the Sage of Six Paths is hidden in Uchiha's bloodline. Sasuke smiled. If you don't want to find out who Nagato is behind, with Sasuke's strength, it can kill Tiandao Pain in an instant. Sasuke, so what if you know everything? The pain deep in my heart needs this world to feel it. Tiandao Pain's body was suspended and he slowly stretched out his hand. Even you can't avoid this move. Today, I must let Konoha and the country of destruction feel the blue of the small country. Sasuke frowned slightly. Nagato, it's better not to waste your efforts. I am confident that I will move you away before you launch the Shinluo Heavenly Conquest. When Tiandao Pain heard this, his face was ferocious. Uchiha Sasuke, why? Why do you have to stop me? Because everything you do is meaningless. Sasuke said coldly. Impossible, everything I did was guided by God and was correct. Tendo Pain was about to activate his ninjutsu. Call out. At this moment, Sasuke approaches instantly and activates his Ten-Shell power. The next second, he appeared in front of Tiandao Pain. He grabbed Tiandao Pain with one hand, then used the Flying Thunder God technique and disappeared instantly. A forest far away from Konoha village. The two appeared in the forest. Okay, if you want to gain full power, then please do so. Sasuke smiled. Damn it, it's actually a time and space ninjutsu. Tiandao Pain looked at the unfamiliar environment around him and knew that this operation failed. Well, now let me see where your true body is hidden. Sasuke took out a black rod, and then his spiritual power penetrated it and sensed it carefully. Don't even think about it. Tiandao Pain was about to stop him, but found that he couldn't move. What happened? Only then did he see that his body was covered with dense black spells. A little magnet-style ninjutsu, it just temporarily seals your movements. Oh, I found it. It turns out you are hiding in the mountains around Konoha. Sasuke smiled. Then, he quickly sealed Pain. Then, Sasuke rushed towards Nagato's body at an astonishing speed. Konan, our operation was a complete failure. Uchiha Sasuke, I didn't expect that his strength could be deceived to this extent. In the dim space, Nagato sighed. Moreover, he followed the induction and found my hiding place. It's better to leave quickly. Nagato looked at Konan aside and said. But what are you going to do? Konan had a worried look on his face. Don't worry about me, just leave. Now he's locked on me with his senses. With his strength, I can't leave. Nagato looked calm. His legs were plotted by Hanzo of the Salamander a long time ago. Almost crippled and unable to move. In this case, if Konan insists on taking him away, both of them will be caught up. Let's face it together, Nagato, I won't regret it. Konan said with firm eyes. Since Yahiko's death, she has long put life and death behind in order to achieve her goals. While the two were talking, the tree, disguised by ninjutsu, was torn apart. The sun was dazzling, and Sasuke's figure appeared. At a glance, he saw Nagato, who was extremely thin and had many black chakra rods inserted into his body. And a very wary Konan. Uchiha Sasuke, your actions are faster than I thought. Nagato looked at him. You won, you Konoha won, but we Akatsuki will not give up, you, do it. Sasuke shook his head slightly. I'm not here just to take your life, but to tell you the truth. A cruel and sad truth. It's ridiculous. Even now, you are still talking about the truth. You Konoha and the 5 major countries invaded small countries and left behind numerous crimes. This is the truth. Nagato growled. Sasuke was silent for a moment before speaking. Everything you know, even everything you see, may not be true. The masked man who calls himself Uchiha Madara has been close to you a long time ago and is directing everything without your knowledge. And his true identity is Uchiha Obito. Suddenly, a rude interruption sounded. That's enough, I don't care who he is, we just need to use the power of the tailed beasts to achieve peace, that's enough. As for you, Uchiha Sasuke, what do you, a brat who was born in Konoha village, know? Nagato gasped. But, Nagato, don't forget, you are defeated by me, a little devil. Sasuke's eyes showed Mangekyo and he said coldly. You. Nagato was startled for a moment, then calmed down. Tell me, what do you want to do? Sasuke frowned slightly, then spoke. Oh, it's a long story, where do I start from? Let's start with the real Uchiha Madara. The real Uchiha Madara. Both Nagato and Konan were a little confused. They naturally knew about this name that was so popular in the ninja world. That is a powerful person comparable to the god of ninja, Senju Hashirama. But according to the masked man, didn't he, Uchiha Madara, lose his power? Sasuke glanced at him. This guy Obito is using this rhetoric to deceive people again. But with his Mangekyo Sharingan, the elusive Kamui, and the secrets Uchiha Madara passed on to him. It's really a trick to fool people. At least, Nagato Konan in front of him was frightened by him. You guys, just listen to me. Then, Sasuke started to talk about everything about Uchiha Madara. From the Sengoku era, all about Uchiha Madara. Sasuke certainly knows it very well. So, he told Nagato and Konan the story of Uchiha Madara's growth, including his bond with Senju Hashirama, and the reconciliation between Uchiha and the Senju clan, and their experience co-founding Konoha village. Sasuke, what do you mean by this? Nagato frowned and looked at him, his voice low. Keep listening, Nagato, where do you think your Rinnegan came from? Sasuke glanced at him. Rinnegan. Nagato was slightly startled, not knowing what Sasuke wanted to say, so he could only listen patiently. Sasuke continued. Soon after Uchiha Madara founded Konoha village, Senju Hashirama was elected first Hokage. Then, Uchiha Madara, who acted increasingly crazily, quickly relied on his power to suppress the other 4 ninja villages. Moreover, in Konoha Shinobi village, there was also a conflict with the 2 brothers Senju Hashirama Tobirama. To his surprise, the Uchiha clan was tired of the long war. Follow him no more. Finally, Uchiha Madara, who left alone, finally captured 9 Tails and had a decisive battle with Senju Hashirama in the Valley of the End. Both of them tried their best in this battle. In the end, Senju Hashirama relied on wood-style ninjutsu to defeat Uchiha Madara with difficulty. But Uchiha Madara changed the fate of being killed through Izanagi. Later, the weak Uchiha Madara swallowed the power of Senju Hashirama due to the stone tablet of his clan. When he was old, he opened the Rinnegan and transplanted the Rinnegan to a red-haired boy. Sasuke paused when he said this and looked at Nagato with meaning. What do you mean? You mean, my eyes were left by Uchiha Madara, how is this possible? We, the Uzumaki clan, are distant descendants of the bloodline of Sage of 6 Paths. My eyes are inherited from the legendary ancestor of the ninja world, Sage of 6 Paths. Nagato's eyes widened and he said hoarsely. In that case, Nagato, why do you think I know Rinnegan's secret? Sasuke smiled mysteriously. You. Nagato was stunned, this was exactly what he was confused about. Whether it's Uchiha Madara or me, we all learned the secret of the Sage of 6 Paths through the stone tablet left by Uchiha. Sage of 6 Paths, once divided his power between his 2 sons, Indra and Ashura. Ashura is the ancestor of the Senju clan, and Indra is the ancestor of Uchiha. When the 2 forces meet again, the power of Sage of 6 Paths can be channeled, which is Rinnegan. Now, you understand. Sasuke explained. No, it's impossible, it's not true. Nagato lowered his head and murmured to himself. He had told himself this since the war years, when he was adopted by Jiraiya. His eyes are the same as the legendary Sage of 6 Paths. He always thought that he inherited the power of Sage of 6 Paths and could change the entire ninja world. In the end, everything I own was given by others. This was unacceptable to him. However, the secrets revealed by Sasuke made him believe a little more. But, what is the purpose of Uchiha Madara doing this? Nagato was puzzled. Sasuke sighed and began to tell. Uchiha Obito was adopted by Uchiha Madara, and then brainwashed by him to inherit his plan. Uchiha Madara entrusted the secrets she knew, as well as the Eye Project, to King Oi. And Obito is the current masked man. After that, Obito approached the Akatsuki organization as Uchiha Madara. Nagato, you must not have forgotten the ability of heretics. In addition to summoning Gedo statue, there is a more powerful ability. Sasuke looked at him. You mean, Rinne Tensai technique? Nagato reacted and had a vague guess in his heart. Yes, Uchiha Madara has come to this point, how can he be so willing to die? And your existence is to use Rinne Tensei to resurrect him. He only left the means to resurrect himself. Sasuke's words were like a thunderclap. Nagato was completely shocked. But when he thought about it for a moment, he realized that things seemed to be what Sasuke said. Totally consistent. Project Tsuki no Mi. Through the power of tailed beasts, all humans will fall into the illusion of infinite Tsukuyomi. Uchiha Madara is really an irrational lunatic. Nagato's own plan is to use the tailed beasts to form a balancing force. Let the 5 major countries not dare to launch war easily and achieve peace under deterrence. Originally, this was already very extreme. But compared to Uchiha Madara, it's so simple. Use the eye of the moon to make everyone in the ninja world fall into the same illusion. Nagato knows very well that this method is almost the same as exterminating all human beings. Peace trapped in an illusion is even more false. Sasuke, what do you want? Nagato said this and woke up. Of course Project Tsuki no Mi is not feasible, and he will definitely not agree with it. However, he still longs for peace. Senju Hashirama. Sasuke said, well, this man known as the god of ninja once brought a brief period of peace to the ninja world. You mean, Nagato seemed to understand Sasuke. When another Senju Hashirama, no, a being stronger than Senju Hashirama comes, he will naturally be able to unify the ninja world and achieve true peace. This person is right in front of you. The corners of Sasuke's mouth raised slightly. Konan and Nagato looked at each other in silence. What Sasuke said seems to make some sense. Sasuke, do you think you can do everything you say you'll do? Nagato said in a low voice. Of course, now I can easily defeat you, Pain, who is called a god. And my strength will continue to grow until I become the strongest in the ninja world, crushing everyone else. When the time comes, what you call peace will be easy for me. Why, you don't believe that I have strength? Sasuke looked at him and asked. Nagato fell silent. He couldn't help but recall Sasuke's terrifying strength when he faced Six Paths Pain. This is an overwhelming force that he cannot resist. After a long time, he slowly raised his head. In that case, I will believe you once. Sasuke, I hope you can keep your promise, unify the entire ninja world, and achieve peace. Nagato said slowly. In fact, in Nagato's heart, besides trusting Sasuke's sales history, this is also a rebellion against the Akatsuki organization, and against Uchiha Obito. This insidious guy actually hides in the dark and uses this method. As a result, the Akatsuki organization continued to deteriorate, and finally became what it is today. If Yahiko saw all this, he would definitely not be able to bear it. Sasuke saw this and smiled in relief. It seems that my persuasion to Nagato finally worked. Then what are you going to do now? Sasuke looked at the two of them. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe.